Hello, I'm back, and I am playing more Chained Together with Jambi and Jinx. We're probably gonna have to start over from the beginning because I don't think Lee's coming this time, and they have the save for the last one. But that's fine because Jinx didn't play it last time, so they could start from the beginning. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and get the game up while I wait for them to start the Discord call or whatever. Minimize some stuff. Get out of my way. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing good. Opening up the game. Alright. Let me go over here for a second. So I can add it in. Should I have some music playing while I play? Maybe I should. We'll see. I need to get in the habit of having music in the background. That's the wrong window. There we go. Where are you at? Where's Chained Together? There you are, Chained Together. Okay, we have... You should have image. Where's the visual? Where's... Is this... Oh, that's audio. And... Game? Yeah, game would be in. There we go, that's... There we go. There we go, it's working now. Alright, let me see if they started call. Okay. Ready when y'all are. Alright. Now we wait. Now we wait for the link. This is gonna be off the chain. Let me get some music on. Nah. I really need to get some background music. Should I just play YouTube music? Or would be cool if I could I don't think I will ever be. I don't think I'm going to. It'd be cool to a mission, like an original theme song maybe, but I don't think I'm ever gonna do that. In the near future. That would be neat. Let's go over here for a second. So there's audio of some kind. Because I kind of I just mostly just stream in the quiet void, but most of the time I just go straight to the gameplay. But hope everyone's having a good day. Now we wait. Should I start the call or should I think I've started. I guess I could. Yeah, I'm gonna try starting the call. It looks like Jinx is ready. Someone's typing. Any second now. They must be typing something long. Okay. Okay, they're gonna be an hour. Alright, I'm gonna start the call. Okay. Why is that gray? Why isn't it saying? Did that internet die? There. No, it's not. Maybe we can. Maybe we could play something else while we wait for Jinx. So that way they can be at the beginning. Beat up Jambi Multiverses or something, or we just play Jade together till that Jinx comes. Go over here. Yeah, you can't hear the music unless I click the game. All right. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. How you
Hello.
doing, Jambi?
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How do I remove other people from a call? Because they're still calling them.
I don't think you can because you have to wait until they
Oh, they're gone. They're gone. Never mind.
decline the call and shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Or
god.
hello, how's you doing? Good mythical morning to you. We are going to be playing Chain together. It's gonna be about 45 minutes for our other friend to be joining us, so we're just gonna be here in the void
we could
with my
we could
fan art.
we could play something else or play a little bit until they join with like 2-player.
Good.
Like we could do a different game, play this while we wait. We could get back to the New York for even though they haven't played this game yet, so maybe we should like wait for them.
Yeah, wait for them. I don't know. You want to talk about that possible book club thing?
Maybe, sure.
Okay.
Like it's debating if what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna buy the books or if I'm gonna like find another way.
Don't you have a library that you go to?
I haven't. Okay, we moved to this house like a year, like 2 or 3 years ago. And I haven't been to the library in like years. So I haven't been to the local library before yet. But I could rent it. I was thinking that, like, oh yeah, renting's a thing. Hello, Bane. How are you doing? I was promised Miss Info when it showed on stream. How dare you get rid of our being? I'm sorry. I have to get rid of the TTS PNG so Jambi's not covering them, but it should still work. Yeah, I could rent it, but I kind of wanted like new. I'm like, ew, gross. Used book. I want new.
Well, you can get like the Legends copy that
Mm,
Disney's pumping out, or you
mm,
can look for like original copies, which are
mm,
going to be a lot more expensive because they're
mm,
the originals.
mm.
So it's up to you.
Yeah.
I think I got the Legends. Yes, I do. I see it on the spine of my book that I'm looking at right now. Yeah, I got the Legends copies.
Is this info not working? Why isn't she working? Is it because I have her disappeared? Let me try that again. It's weird.
How are you, Scorpion? I hope you're having a good morning. I hope you're having a good breakfast if you have it. I haven't already. And if you are having breakfast, let me know what you're having.
I had a
Uh,
handful of peanuts.
I had cereal. Yeah, speaking of the book talk,
Mm,
actually good that I brought it up now,
Pog
so we can plan
online
for it later.
poggers.
mm,
Also, one of my favorite uh media critics,
mm,
just some guy, just released a like 12-minute video talking about
mm,
how the Acolyte is the perfect representation of how Disney Star Wars is nothing but like deconstruction.
mm.
and he goes on to say, pointing out that their deconstruction media existed for like a long time, such as
Mhm.
back going as far back as the 1980s with the
Mhm.
Watchmen comics, where
Mhm.
the whole purpose of the Watchmen comics was to criticize and point out the flaws
Mhm.
in superhero media by giving
Mhm.
the superheroes of that series more realistic, humanized personalities and flaws,
Mhm.
and um, how they work on those flaws and how they overcome those flaws, or at least cope with them. And with he goes into Disney Star Wars and points out all the things that they've done to try to deconstruct their media as a
Mhm.
whole, and how it really doesn't add or do anything to uh, point
Mhm.
out those flaws. Like for example, like Rorschach. Rorschach was
Mhm.
like a Batman esque vigilante in the Watchmen
Oh yeah,
comics,
yeah, yeah.
and so one bad night where a criminal did some horrible things to a little girl,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
um,
the TTS. I'm sorry, chat.
it broke Rorschach, and
I'll fix
Rorschach,
her later.
discovered that there isn't necessarily a black and white anymore, good and
Mhm.
bad. There's a fucked up gray because even if
Mhm.
he beat the shit out of this
Mhm.
motherfucker and put him in prison, he would still get out eventually and just do the
Mhm.
exact same thing again.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
the
if you
that whole like Joker argument. Like, why don't you just get rid of the Joker? They just get.
yeah,
Mhm.
and if you watch the movie, uh Rorschach takes a butcher knife and plunges it in the guy's head, and it's like, oh, people go to prison, dogs get put down,
Mhm.
and that's where he kind of evolved from the goody two shoes
Mhm.
superhero to a anti-hero,
Mhm.
and how he has to cope with doing things uh
Mhm.
he's superheroes aren't necessarily known for doing.
Mhm.
um and it's flaws like that get
Mhm.
pointed out compared to like the other superhero media, where like
Mhm.
Superman back in the day was borderline Mr. Perfect, where
Yeah.
he had all the superpowers, hardly anyone can stand up to him without a piece of kryptonite and shit.
Mhm.
And he transfer and that's back in the 1980s, so he
Mhm.
transfers over to media how it's been represented in today's age, and it's just nothing but deconstruction. It's just deconstruction, deconstruction,
Like
deconstruction.
deconstruction and like meta commentary on like the genre.
I want to say more so meta commentary, just it's just mean spirited, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, because he goes to talk about
There's like a self
uh
awareness to it in a way.
not so much that, but it's more like he goes on to point on to the example of Luke Skywalker
Mhm.
in the Last Jedi, where uh originally Luke Skywalker as a character was a
He was like,
beacon of hope who
yeah.
always looked into the best in others, even with his
Mhm.
genocidal maniac of a father.
Mhm.
He always saw the best in
Mhm.
in his dad, regardless of the fact that uh, Darth Vader helped in Order
Mhm.
66, murdered children,
Mhm.
tortured his daughter inadvertently, and
Yeah.
and beat the shit out of his son and cut off his hand.
Mhm.
And even after all that, Luke still saw the good in Darth Vader, which in the end worked out, and Vader died and back to the light side of the Force,
Mhm.
where he became a Force ghost, and Anakin was redeemed because he fulfilled the
Mhm.
prophecy in killing the Emperor and shit.
Mhm.
And
It's honestly kind of really. It's honestly kind of really funny how like basically he like committed Jedi genocide and like, oh, but he gets to go to heaven. It's fine. It's cool. He said sorry, guys. He goes to heaven.
yeah, that's the
He said.
comical part in that. But going and then that was the original trilogy right there we
Mhm.
just talked about with Luke Skywalker. Then we go into the sequel trilogy,
Mhm.
where that beacon of hope that who always saw the good in others, regardless of what your actions are,
Yeah.
it gets tossed out the window so dramatically and so unnecessarily and just out of fucking nowhere to off screen most of the time, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
Off screen too, which is fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But but in The Last Jedi, it's revealed that Luke
Mm-hmm.
had a possible vision
Mm-hmm.
of Ben Solo turning to the dark side, and
Mm-hmm.
instead of, confronting his nephew
Mm-hmm.
properly to sway him from going to the dark side or anything, he
He gave
instead
into
tries
fear.
he gave into fear, which is something that,
Mm-hmm.
Luke doesn't do, and he tries
Mm-hmm.
killing his nephew in his sleep.
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean, like he seemed conflicted in the last Star Wars, The Return of the Jedi. Like Palpatine almost got him to like give into his anger a little bit, and like he all the Jedi are dead, so like he only has kind of like a little bit of trading. I mean, he got a lot of trading from Force Ghost Obi-Wan and Yoda. But like again, like but that's only like kind of like two masters when like there used to be like a whole Jedi temple in school.
yeah, but those at the same time, those two masters at the
Mhm.
time during the prequel era were like literally
The best.
the top five at the very
Mhm.
most. It's literally Yoda, Mace
Mhm.
Windu, and Obi-Wan. Those are literally the top three.
Mhm.
And yeah, and two of those top three trained Luke, which makes sense of why he turned out so well with the Force,
Mhm.
his Jedi training and everything. But going back to what we were saying,
Mhm.
you brought up a good point
Mhm.
with Palpatine
Mhm.
turning Luke to the dark side,
Mhm.
and you were right. He does give in to his anger. Well, not so much Palpatine, but more so
Mhm.
Vader, because Vader goaded Luke into giving his anchor, and you saw that after tapping to the dark side a little
Mhm.
bit there, he overpowered Vader to the point
Mhm.
of cutting off his robot hand. And he was going to do the
Mhm.
finishing blow, but he realized that one, he was turning to the dark side, and two,
Mhm.
he saw his father's hand and
Mhm.
saw that he was quite literally repeating
Mhm.
history all over again. And so
Mhm.
he came to his senses
Mhm.
and just threw away his lightsaber and just accepted that he will die a Jedi if he has
Mhm.
to.
Well, I mean, if
And
you think about it in that context, him almost killing Ben, but like he stops himself. I think Luke is like again, like I said, like the whole trading thing. I think Luke is still a little more like human, where he still like is emotional. Like he went against Yoda's wishes and went to go try and save Han and Leia, and then got his hand chopped off and learned about Vader being his father or whatever. Like he's always kind of given him to his emotions, but he's always like able to stop himself, like to calm himself down. Like okay, I need to like not be irrational, but like you know what I mean. So
I
like.
see what you're saying. It's just the problem is that when you're referring to the Empire
Mm-hmm.
Strikes Back scene, and this is what Luke kind of like has like a heavy burden on because he
Mm-hmm.
didn't listen to his master because
Mm-hmm.
he was told he wasn't ready. He was
Mm-hmm.
letting his emotions guide him, and he jumped into something headfirst,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing what the hell he was going to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And and then the stories are you already know the story where he gets
Mm-hmm.
his ass whooped by his dad and he gets his
Mm-hmm.
hand chopped off. And the thing about that
Mm-hmm.
is is that that was a growing point
Mhm.
for Luke for his hero's journey formula, because the
Mhm.
hero's journey is like a young boy with aspirations meets a wise
Mhm.
master who goes on a journey, a
Mhm.
villain who is too powerful for the
Mhm.
young hero kills the master, and
Mhm.
so the young hero wants to take revenge for
Mhm.
the master and fight the villain. The
Mhm.
villain's still too powerful and puts him in his place and humbles him, and so
Mhm.
then the hero goes back into training to come back stronger than before, learning from
Mhm.
mistakes, and then beats the
Mhm.
villain. And that's what literally the hero's journey is,
Mhm.
and that's what you see throughout the prequel trilogy. You see a young
Mhm.
farmer boy meet an old wise man who trains
Mhm.
him in the Force. He doesn't know
Mhm.
how to use the Force properly at the time, so he doesn't fight the villain, but
Mhm.
he sees his master get killed by the villain.
Mhm.
Then when he has a better understanding of what he's trying to do, he goes and head first
Mhm.
as like any young greenhorn would ever do,
Mhm.
and gets his ass whooped. and then he comes back
Mm.
humbled, and then learns from mistakes, and then learns what he needs to do wrong, and then just
Mm.
goes forward with it. See,
Mm.
and the problem is that this is when Luke is like 20, right? Because like
Mm.
he's 18 at the start
Yeah.
of A New Hope, and he's like 20 or in his young early 20s. So I guess he's
Mm.
hormonal and not
Mm.
as well experienced as anyone else compared to
Mm.
like Anakin or well,
Mm.
not so much Anakin because there's a lot there that can be discussed
Mm.
there, or like Obi-Wan for example. He's not
Mm.
as experienced as Obi-Wan.
And
And
yeah, and again, like with the whole age thing, like even Luke was trained way too old. Like Yoda's like, you're too old, I can't train you. So like,
yeah.
yeah, he may be like a very talented Jedi being trained by Yoda and Obi-Wan, but he was trained too old, so he didn't have the years of experience as like a normal Jedi. So like he probably will give in to like almost give in to emotions like irrationally, but like he's able to catch himself. And also there's kind of like a theme in Star Wars about like how like the Jedi philosophy is flawed, where it's like, oh, repress emotions, but like that usually just leads to people bottling up and end up turning to the dark side. So like I don't know, he's kind of more of a human response, like, oh, I had a scary nightmare of my nephew murdering people, but then he's like, wait, no, calm down, I'm not. Let me think. I'm not gonna kill my nephew, but like like the misunderstanding bull crap. So like I could kind of see where it's like in character a little bit, but it's still kind of weird.
Oh yeah, it's like how do I explain this? It's like God,
Mm.
he literally. Oh, I can't think of a good like comparison, but like Luke, all he did was jump the fucking gun. And
Mm.
see, the thing, if this was still young Luke,
Mm.
even Return of the Jedi Luke,
Mm.
where he was still fairly young, and like in Return of the Jedi, he gave into his emotions a little bit
Mm.
when Vader threatened to
Mm.
kill his sister. That was him young and
Mm.
inexperienced still, but this is him Grandmaster Luke
Mm.
Skywalker. This is literally supposed to be Luke at his
Mm.
pinnacle, where he's supposed to have trained himself not to
Mm.
give in to and not
Mm.
give into those emotions, but like not so much where he's going to murder his own fucking nephew
Yeah, but he
in the
did
middle of
it.
the
He did.
night.
He didn't though. He just had a brief 1 second thought, like intrusive thought, and then he's realized, wait, that's stupid. We all have intrusive thoughts. So he's like, ah. And you think about it, like the entire the entire Jedi race was like wiped out by Anakin, and like again, Luke is very like
Forgiving.
caring about his friends or whatever. So imagine years of like rebuilding the Jedi Order and like making a school, building attachments to a bunch of young Jedis that he gathered around throughout the galaxy to randomly have a thought, have like a very bad dream of your nephew basically doing a Vader. And he's like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't want to go extinct again. I
but the
love these
problem
people.
the problem is that that's his fucking nephew too at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time. But like he literally forgave his father who did the exact same thing. But Luke's
Hmm.
first thought was like, "I'm gonna murder this little bitch."
I don't think he was like murder. He just said like, I don't know.
I'm
Again,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Assassinate.
yeah, he just had like a bad nightmare, intrusive thought, opened his lightsaber. Right? He wasn't actually gonna do it.
We don't know. Well, we
Well,
do show that there's hesitation, but the problem is that it
mm,
literally doesn't matter now because it set everything in
mm,
motion for the events of the sequel trilogy to go forward. And
mm,
at the same time, I'm sorry. Speaking of
mm,
assassination, that is literally character assassination on Luke
mm,
Skywalker's part,
mm,
and it doesn't help that. And I hate bringing this up, but the video I mentioned that brought
mm,
us to this conversation, i-
mm,
in the expanded universe, in the books and everything. Guess
mm,
what? Palpatine, cloned himself,
mm,
transferred his soul into one of those clones,
mm.
and oosh, wow,
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
well, it's explained better because thanks to the expanded universe, but with the sequel trilogy
Mm,
and those who don't read the books, it's never explained how Palpatine returned.
Hmm.
However, in the novelizations, it's revealed
They
that
explain it.
if they explain it, and they kind of show it off and hint at it a little bit in the Return of the
Hmm.
Jedi and going forward into the Rise of Skywalker, where there's like a weird little sense of like teleportation
Hmm.
that they have there, which is still cool. And again, it's something that's also done in the
Hmm.
expanded universe too, but whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but Palpatine basically teleported himself
Hmm.
away, and so
Yeah.
that's how he survived the explosion of the Death Star, which is still a bullshit reason because you kind of like literally pulled it out of your ass to literally justify the fucking whole somehow Palpatine's return meme. And then the fucked up part is that it's not even the fucking movie. So people who don't read the
Hmm.
books, which is literally I want to say maybe 80% of the current Star Wars going audience
Hmm.
who don't read the fucking books, they have no explanation.
Yeah,
And
it's really kind of I mean, it's kind of neat, but it's kind of like they shouldn't be doing this. It's kind of like a shame, like kind of stupid that they do this. They basically like whenever there's a bad Star Wars movie with a bunch of missing lore, there's like, we'll just give it to Filoni and he'll just like world build in his shows. Like
for real.
no one liked the prequel movies until Clone Wars because like
Hmm.
Filoni added depth. And now
Yeah.
with the whole Palpatine being Snoke clone thing, that's basically the overarching plot in like Mandalorian and shit. It's basically Mandalorian is this like subtle world building of like how Palpatine returned.
Yep.
It's
But in
just like was it like damage control? Like I appreciate Filoni doing it. It's very interesting, but like at this point, like we know Snoke is lame and sucks, so like who cares?
yeah. And it sucks too because like I feel bad for Filoni for so bad because he's an
Hmm.
avid Star Wars nerd just as much as me.
Hmm.
Knows a lot of the lore
Hmm.
himself, and has even been schooled on lore by other Star Wars
Hmm.
fans such as Sam Witwer, and
He
and it's
retcons a
just
lot of stuff.
I don't blame him for the retcons
Hmm.
because half the time, if you look into
Hmm.
the behind the scenes situations with
Hmm.
the production for Rise of Skywalker,
Hmm.
Kathleen Kennedy fucking neutered that movie
Hmm.
so much.
Which
I'm
movie?
surprised they even Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like they had so much potential. They had Hayden Christensen coming back as a Force Ghost. That
Hmm.
got cut. They had a better explanation instead of Rey going fucking Super Saiyan
Hmm.
to that got cut. And
Hmm.
they had a perfect, powerful moment that if they kept this scene in the movie, I would
Hmm.
accept Rey being a Skywalker if they did
Hmm.
this. But they didn't, and they cut it, and so she just gave herself the title of Skywalker at the end of the movie. Spoilers, by the way, people.
Yeah, I heard
And
there's like half a movie cut. Like it could have been they were
for
considering a two part.
real.
They were probably even considering a two-parter.
For real. Like in one of the scenes where Rey says, if you're all the Sith, I'm all the Jedi then." And what happened was like all the Force
Hmm.
ghosts of the Skywalker family,
Hmm.
Leia, Ben,
Hmm.
uh Anakin, Luke,
Hmm.
they all appear and they literally, kind of combine into her with, other silhouettes of
Hmm.
all the other Force ghosts as
Hmm.
well.
She's going into the
And
Avatar state.
basically, and what's funny is that the Anakin ghost
Hmm.
Hayden Christensen was actually gonna give like a sly smirk over to Palpatine, and then
Hmm.
Palpatine was like Skywalkers, and then and then they literally converge into Rey, and then there
What
goes that the Super Saiyan scene.
what is it? Just it just gives off like the like whole like meme. Where it's like women, but like Skywalkers,
I don't know, but that actually is
but
hilarious, and
men.
that would work very well too with like memes and like having it holding it up over the years, the same way the prequel trilogy memes are holding it up over the years as well, making
Hmm.
it would probably make it
Hmm.
nostalgic at one point. But they don't. They cut
Hmm.
that out because Kathleen Kennedy wants it all girl power and a girl boss, and like that's not a bad thing.
Hmm.
And this is where we're going back into the argument about the expanded universe. This shit is
Hmm.
like they keep selectively cherry picking themes
Mhm.
terms and materials and MacGuffins and other shit from expanded universe lore and adapt it into the Disney Star Wars uh,
Mhm.
uh, franchise. But and it's just fucking nuts because they made a whole valid point
Mhm.
or a valid statement years ago, like, oh, if there's anything, everything that was in the expanded universe got
Mhm.
cut,
Mhm.
so we're not gonna be using any of that. And
Mhm.
then, and then the acolyte, oh my god, and the acolyte is just bringing in a whole bunch of shit
Mhm.
to from that era of
Mhm.
Star Wars into the new era, which is
Mhm.
good. I like that. The problem is that what was the whole point of making the expanded universe non-canon?
Mhm. I think the idea for decanonizing the expanded universe is so that way they can like adapt the stories or like make new stories that like they don't have to worry about contradictions. They could reboot. Basically, essentially, like you know how like the Marvel comics are different from the Marvel movies, so the Marvel can like adapt comics, but they can do it differently. So basically creative freedom. So they can, if they want to, they can go back to the Star Wars books, but they can change things so people don't be like, oh, I read the book, I know what's gonna happen.
That
You know?
didn't stop Lord of the Rings, though.
Yeah, but Lord of the Rings is different. That's not like, well, it's a universe
Oh,
now, but at the time that was just an adaptation. With Star Wars, you know, like they like to do the mystery box, like, ooh, the twist.
what twist though? There is
Like
no
Luke,
twist.
I'm
They've
your
been literally been.
father. Because
Oh yeah, we got Luke. I'm your father, and you couldn't.
they think that they need to
I
have
see.
twists like that. And they're like, we can't have
Yeah, how'd
twists
that
like
work out?
that. If we can't have twists like that, if like there's books that spoil everything. But like we can be like, oh, it's
Well,
based
here's
on
the
this
problem: is
book, but like
that
we might change things, so it's still a mystery.
the problem is, like I said before, is that no one reads the fucking books anymore. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So like the only people who would know and actually appreciate
Hmm.
those sort of things is literally the
Hmm.
people, the other 20% of people
Hmm.
that actually read the books.
Like they could make it work if they did like how DC's like, oh, we're doing this superhero, read these books. Whereas it's like, oh, we're gonna do a show that features this character from Legends. Here's some books that aren't necessarily canon, but you can read about the character to like
Yeah,
prepare.
if they did something like that, I would actually appreciate it
Mm-hmm.
because that would make sense. Because this goes into the this whole thing, and this is a side tangent, a side rant
Mm-hmm.
that's not really related to our main topic. But like, I
Mm-hmm.
hate it when people don't read the actual source, not so much the source material, just
Mm-hmm.
like comics in general about the things that they like from the movie they watch, or comics or books, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
from the things that they watch, like the Spider Verse movies, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember people saying that the third and final Spider Verse movie is gonna be in a few years now, and people
Mm-hmm.
were like, "Oh no, he was just starting his journey. This is gonna last Miles
Mm-hmm.
Morales movie in like decades or years and what or whatever." And I'm like,
Like pick up a book.
read the read the fucking comics then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't take that
Mm-hmm.
much. I mean, maybe like,
I
well,
kind
I
of.
will admit that
Mm-hmm.
comics are a little bit expensive these days, but like,
Mm-hmm.
there's other ways to go read or
Like if you don't want to
something.
buy
But like what
if
you
you don't
said,
want to buy a comic, you can just like there's like comic subscription services. You can read it on your phone for like $5 a month. Infinite
yeah,
comics. So
for
like
real,
it's not that bad. Like you have Netflix, you can get like Miles Morales Netflix.
for real.
Yeah.
And
I do wish there was like more cartoons like that are like aren't connected to the movies, like their own thing, so that way people like can learn about like the character's lore without having to read. Like there used to be like cartoons of every hero, but now when we get cartoons, they're just like it's connected to the movies and cringe. And I was like, I want original artists to do their own original takes that aren't MCUified. Like
see, that's why I loved it.
you look at
That's
X Men
what I loved about
'99, it's like a
yeah,
hit.
but
Like
still
and it's
connected
not
to
connected.
everything.
Yeah, but it's like
Oh no,
it's
it is.
It is connected, but like, hi Calmer, welcome for the raid. We should shut up. Yeah, they raided me. They played the deer game. I was lurking a second ago.
Yeah, we played a deer game without you.
Damn, you didn't invite me to the deer game. I wasn't. They didn't invite me to the reindeer games. It's Rudolph all over again. Hi, Calmer. How you doing? Headputts for Calmer.
Dakota the space nose reindeer.
Give you a big headputts for Calmer.
Horns.
Hello, I'm DakotaRedhart, Dear VTuber on Twitch. How's everyone doing? Doing fine? Just hungry? Well, go eat. I kind of did like the horse being like, how hungry? So hungry you eat a deer? How hungry?
Venison.
Damn. For the longest time, I thought veal meant deer meat, but apparently it's like baby lamb or cow or something.
That's baby cow.
Yeah, cow. Like, why did someone tell me it was deer? Because I thought it was deer for the longest time.
I think they might have confused it with venison. Venison's deer.
Yeah. Yeah, baby cow. How's everyone doing in chat? We're just nerding about Star Wars while we wait for Jinx. They had to go to Michael's or something.
Oh, what was I talking about?
Basically what you use for schnitzel? Oh, okay. Yeah, Jambi.
Oh, now he talks about schnitzel. What was I talking about? But yeah, this is what I like about the expanded universe of Star Wars, is that everything was connected, but they were so far apart from the actual movies, because that's what George Lucas' only rule was back in the day, before the prequels came out, was that you can do whatever the fuck you want. It will be canon within the universe of Star Wars. Just don't touch, Darth Vader's past, and the Clone Wars, and we'll be Gucci. And then everyone was like, bet. And that's how we got so many beloved characters throughout the decades. Like Timothy Zahn's worked with Star Wars, for example. The guy literally created Thrawn. And everyone was saddened that when the expanded universe got canceled, that they wouldn't get Thrawn. But look what we got in Rebels. We got Thrawn.
Thanks, Filoni.
Yeah. And what else? Oh yeah, and also in that book, spoiler alerts if you haven't heard of or watched Acolyte yet. There's a scene in that show where the Sith has a helmet and he headbutts a lightsaber.
Interesting.
And the lightsaber deactivates and is basically stunned. And
that can happen.
Yes, and this was actually done in the Timothy Zahn book that introduced Thrawn in the first place. And there's a metal material called cortosis, which has the attributes to deactivate and resist lightsabers, similar to Beskar armor.
Beskar armor can't deactivate a lightsaber, though. That's kind of...
Nope,
how does that work? That's I don't know. It's kind of dumb. Like, so you're telling me you get a rock of this metal and you can just like chuck it at someone's lightsaber and it just turns off? How?
I think it's some kind of I think it's explained better in the Timothy Zahn book. So like maybe whenever we finish the
it's
Darth
a laser
trilogy,
it's a laser. I guess
yes.
I guess maybe like an EMP might work, but like hitting it with like a piece of metal, like how does that fucking work?
We'll have to watch or not watch, but read the Thrawn trilogy next after the Darth Bane trilogy.
Oh yeah, we could do like Darth Bane, Acolyte, and then we could do maybe Ahsoka and the Thrawn trilogy.
Ooh, that's actually a good idea.
Because like Ahsoka is setting up, I think the Thrawn Empire books. So you're gonna adapt it. Okay, food time. Yep. Y'all have fun. I might join after food. Can't promise. Oh, neat. Calmer might join. Well, enjoy your food, Calmer.
Yeah, enjoy your schnitzel.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to start at the beginning for Jinx, though, Calmer. If that's okay.
Yeah. We're gonna die.
We'll try and speed run to the New York for you.
Oh yeah,
Attempt at
Clover wasn't
least.
there for New York though. He
Oh yeah, they
left like
weren't. Oh yeah, they
yeah.
left.
Yeah, Lee was with us
Mm-hmm.
for New York.
Mm-hmm. New Donk City.
Yeah. God, I miss the expanded universe so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
like the expanded universe had like so many stuff. But yes, what did it have a lot of books because it was like throughout the decades up until
Mm-hmm.
2013. Yes, is it a little overbearing?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit in hindsight, but
Mm-hmm.
like if you just look at it on the surface, that will
Mm-hmm.
only hinder you. But like once you like, you
Mm-hmm.
don't even have a starting point either.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally just pick up any book and just
Mm-hmm.
go ham on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started with the Darth Bane trilogy, which is like
Mm-hmm.
1,500 years before the events of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the Old Republic
Mm-hmm.
books that came out around the time the MMO came out,
Mm-hmm.
which is set like 3,000 years before,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. Like they're not connected to one
Mm-hmm.
another in a exact order, but
Mm-hmm.
like there are some books like I said the Darth Bane trilogy that are
Mm-hmm.
significant. Link, hello. There are books that are
Mm-hmm.
significant in the lore of Star Wars as a whole, such as
Mm-hmm.
the Darth Bane trilogy, mostly because of his rule of two, which is there's which is explained why he came up with this philosophy for the Sith and how it even
Mm-hmm.
expanded upon, or not expanded upon,
Mm-hmm.
but was touched upon in the Phantom Menace, where
Mm-hmm.
after they cremate Qui-Gon Jinn's body, uh, Mace Windu was like, he was killed by a Sith, and
Mm-hmm.
Yoda's like, yes, a Sith.
A
And there's
Sith
always
Lord.
two. And then there's always two. Master and apprentice there
Mm-hmm.
is. And which one did we kill?
The world may never know.
Yeah, not for like another 10 years, Star Wars lore wise. And
Have you
yeah,
seen the animated show Tales of the Jedi
Tales.
with the Yaddle in it?
Uh, oh, not yet. And
Oh.
I hate how Yaddle got
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have her speech impediment, even though Yaddle
Mm-hmm.
in like Robot Chicken
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars got it had the same speech
Mm-hmm.
impediment to it.
Okay.
It was actually a lot more funny with it, and it's just and for whatever reason I don't know why Dave Filoni didn't like
Okay.
fix
Here's
that or
here's
not.
my theory why they didn't do it. So the voice actress for Yaddle is a movie actress and director who happens to direct a lot of Star Wars TV show episodes. Bryce Dallas
Hmm,
Howard. So my theory is she's a movie actress and like a director. I think she just said no, I'm not doing that.
Sag.
Like I'm Bryce
Um,
Dallas Howard, bitch. I'm not doing no Yoda speak.
that doesn't make any sense though. Then why are you even in the part for this? Get somebody else
Hmm.
that's willing to do it. That's literally how
I,
you
I'm
cast.
assuming it was just like a fun thing where it's like, hey, you're an actress, you're directing episodes of The Mandalorian and stuff, and your episodes are really good. You want to pop over to the recording booth and do a cameo? Like this character's gonna get killed off. It doesn't matter. And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? That sounds fun. I'm not doing a voice though. All right, fine.
I really need to look into that episode
Hmm.
in particular
Oh,
because
this.
Yato is
Mhm.
still alive in Attack of the Clones, which is long after that
Yeah,
episode takes
retcon.
place in.
It doesn't make sense.
I don't even know if that's considered a retcon. I think that's a plot
Con.
hole or something.
It's more just like a continuity error, I guess, because Yaddle didn't really. Like Yaddle's just like in the background, right? So it's just kind of like, I guess it's just a continuity error. Like it doesn't really
It's
affect the story that Yaddle's in the background of Attack of the Clones. It's just kind of an annoying mistake.
all right. It's just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird because like she's in the background and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, yeah, she gets killed by Dooku,
Maybe
but
it was a
like why
Force
couldn't you just
ghost.
that got killed by a lightsaber?
No, no, no. Like in the Attack of the Clones, there's just her Force ghost is just there.
I mean, she's not in color or she's not like blue or anything.
Yeah, and then again, like, there's like a whole plot line in the Clone Wars where it's about like Yoda finding the secret technique to be like Force Ghost. Like Qui-Gon's ghost is like, yo Yoda, I'm Qui-Gon's ghost. That's the thing we can do. Go to this planet. And like, Yoda, you're crazy. You're not speaking to no ghost. There's no like Jedi afterlife. Like, there is. I spoke to Qui-Gon. I did. Like, that was like a whole Clone Wars episode. Which just makes it weird that now everyone can be a Force Ghost when that was supposedly like a secret thing Qui-Gon discovered. And then taught to Yoda.
Yeah.
And then Yoda taught to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, theoretically, Anakin and anyone else should not be Force Ghosts because they didn't never train to be Force Ghosts.
Question mark?
Because that was a thing. That was a thing that didn't exist until like Qui-Gon apparently studied it, and then when he died, he was like, "Yo, Yoda, I'm a ghost. Check it out."
So Qui-Gon being a ghost, that makes sense because he learned it from the Wills. Then he taught Yoda, which makes sense.
Who taught Obi-Wan?
I'm pretty sure it was Yoda because
Yoda, like Qui-Gon taught Yoda, and Yoda taught Obi-Wan. And then I would assume Obi-Wan and Yoda taught Luke. Question mark. Like, maybe. I mean, they probably would have.
I mean, you would.
They communicated. Like, they talked to him as ghosts. So like, why, like, wait, so you can turn into a ghost, but you're not going to teach me how I can do it too? Like, no, yeah, you don't get to be a ghost, Luke. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they probably taught him off screen. Anakin's just like, shouldn't work. Are there dark side Force ghosts? If there are they red?
So it's funny you mentioned that because originally, and I really wish George Lucas would have shut his fucking mouth about this because we would still have the good traditional Darth Bane and Darth Revan on top of that. Two fan favorites could have been canon to Star Wars still to this day if it wasn't for fucking George Lucas not shutting the fuck up. But the answer to that question is yes and no, because for whatever reason George Lucas doesn't want Sith Lords or Sith in general to have Force Ghosts because because being a Force Ghost is a Jedi power, not a Sith power, even though he allowed to have other games and books and other media to have Sith Lords be have like Force Ghosts or what. Oh, I wouldn't say ghosts per se, but they're more like wraiths, but they still function the same way as Force Ghosts. And hell, there's even a storyline in Star Wars: The Old Republic MMO where if you play the Sith Inquisitor storyline, you find out you are the descendant of a high-ranking Sith Lord back in the day, and but you're like coming into the Sith Academy as a slave, and you have to work from the bottom to the top, and because of that,
hi Coopsworth. You hit that. The Clone Men themselves.
Coney 2025.
Big hit bets for Coop. How you doing, Coop? We're worried about Star Wars.
Force Ghost Sith. So in that storyline with the Sith Inquisitor, the ancient
the War
Sith
of Stars. Let's go.
Can forcibly summon himself to speak with the character. The problem is that because he's forcing himself, he has to like literally come in and out. He can't just like stay there casually like a Jedi ghost does. And then there's other wraiths that I think it was his name, Marco Ragnos, I think his name was. He was an ancient Sith Lord from like tens of thousands of years before the events of the movies. And
no, unrelated. I probably should have switched stream categories to just chatting until we're ready for the game.
Honestly, same,
it's too late now.
Yep, fuck it. but Mark Naragnos was a ancient Sith Lord who ow,
Was that
Babby like
kitty?
hit me.
Was that a cat?
No, Babby's hitting me.
Oh no!
And
Why you bully them? They're just a little guy.
and Mark Naragnos appears as a
Mm-hmm.
more of like I said, a wraith. So think of
Mm-hmm.
like the what are they called in Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm.
Death Eaters.
Yeah, Death Eaters.
They look more like Death Eaters than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, there was actually supposed to be a scene where
Mm-hmm.
the son of the Force, the
Mm-hmm.
embodiment of the dark side, was supposed to be corrupted by
How
the
you doing, by
ghosts
the way?
of
Cool.
Darth Bane and Darth Revan
How's your day
in
going?
order for him to like kick off the events of like those two episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then George Lucas was like, "Nah, Sith can't do that,"
Mm-hmm.
even though he's already allowed Sith doing that. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And and
I'm
even
alright.
more
Very
hilarious
busy.
is that
All
by the
right.
end of
I'm glad you're doing it right,
Filoni's
cool.
run of the Cartoon Network
Mm-hmm.
run of Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
Filoni allowed Yoda to mate the Wraith slash Ghost of
Mm-hmm.
Darth Bane. So regardless,
For a second,
they
I thought you said mate, like mate the Wraith. I'm like, huh?
Ayo.
Was he doing
But,
that, Wraith? What the
but yeah,
Yoda doing?
so yeah, like Sith ghosts are canon to an
Mm-hmm.
extent. It's just George Lucas doesn't want them to be
Mm-hmm.
canon,
Part of
even though he allowed.
me thinks dark side force ghosts would be overpowerful because like the Sith kind of like the or like to like influence and take over things, you know what I mean? So like I feel like they like haunt someone and like force them to do their bidding.
Oh no, yeah, they are overpowered. Oh wait, now I remember. There's also Force ghosts in or
Mm-hmm.
Sith ghosts in Star Wars: Knights of the Old
Mm-hmm.
Republic video game, where you can actually encounter the
Mm-hmm.
very first Sith Lord ever, and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually have two options in dialogue
Mm-hmm.
to
Didn't they do something like that in Clone Wars too? Or like when Yoda was looking how to do a Force Ghost, he went to like a Sith planet and he talked to like a Darth Bane or something.
Yeah, that was Darth Vader's ghost.
So yeah, I guess he kind of Force Ghost.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That
Mm-hmm.
like Yoda met Bane and he was a wraith,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the things that Dave Filoni still did, even though it was to the behest of George Lucas. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't want that happening,
Mm-hmm.
which is shit. Which I still hate how Filoni didn't just go ahead and do the episode with the son
Mm-hmm.
being corrupted by Bane and Revan,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else? What else? What else?
Just like George's like, you can't do that. That's against the rules. And Florey's like, well, I followed my own rules. The rule of cool.
For real. And thankfully, because of that episode with Yoda, is
Mm-hmm.
we still have a Darth Bane,
Mm-hmm.
but because of Disney Star Wars, we don't have the Rule of Two book,
Mm-hmm.
Darth Bane, from the
Mm-hmm.
trilogy books.
So
So it's
it's
a
the
whole different
character
Darth
without
Bane.
it's the character but without his like motive and philosophy. So
Yeah,
just name only and like
it's just
probably
name only.
design.
Not design, actually. Dave Filoni went with his
Mm-hmm.
own unique design for the Wraith
Mm-hmm.
ghost. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yes,
Interesting.
sad. Sad that it's not
Mm-hmm.
the Darth Bane. It's just Darth Bane.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Darth
Uh,
Bane Jr.
Actually, no, he does have kids, and you'll find
Mm-hmm.
that out in the books as well. He never married or anything.
So he never had kids? Or
Never
did
had kids.
okay.
He kind of adopted a
They
little
could
girl to
plot
make his.
twist.
They kind of adopted He kind of adopted a little girl to turn into an apprentice for his
Okay.
philosophy to work, but that's about it.
Lore question. Does the Grand Inquisitor become a Force Ghost? Because I remember seeing a panel, like he dies in Rebels, but I remember seeing a comic where he's a ghost. And he's like, there are worse things than death. And like disappears. Like he's like a slave and a ghost to Darth Vader.
I'm not sure. I do know that in one of the newer comics for Luke Skywalker,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of does fight an apparition that looks like the Grand Inquisitor.
Mm.
But I don't know if that was supposed to be like a vision or if that was like him fighting a
Mm.
literal ghost.
Yeah. Also, I believe there was an episode in Rebels where they're like in a Jedi temple and they're having like spiritual visions, and one of the visions is like I think Kanan fighting the Inquisitor, but like back when he was good. So I guess like I don't know if that was like I guess he turned good in the afterlife or something. I don't know what was going on in that episode. I kind of had a hard time paying attention to Rebels. Rebels was kind of boring to me.
Yeah, that's a lot. Jump off from Clone Wars to Rebels. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Like it's, I think the last season of like last season when like there was like a actual plot kicking off, it started getting good. But like the first two seasons, just kind of like I don't care what's going on. I don't care about the rebels in general. Like I'm pretty sure the next season or the movie or whatever for Mandalorian is him like working for like the rebels or whatever. You know, they're not rebels anymore. But like I'm
The
just like that sounds
Resistance.
yeah, like that's well they're not a resistance, they're just like the New Republic, I think. But they're like the rebels from the Star Wars the originals. And it's just like I don't care, they're kind of boring. I like side Star Wars stuff. I don't really care about the main conflict. Like the rebels,
Real.
the Empire. Like no, I like the side shit like you know like Mando, he's like a bounty hunter. He's just like some guy. And then like
Yeah.
lore around like characters living in the universe. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's why the expanded universe was so popular was
Mm-hmm.
because that's what it was basically was like all side stories that were
Mm-hmm.
more interesting than the actual movies.
Mm-hmm.
And the blueprint and the movies were the blueprint for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it. It's just everyone else it just expanded off of
Mm-hmm.
the movies, and
Mm-hmm.
that's you kind of see that with the Mandalorian and whatnot, focusing on the lore of
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorians and bounty hunters and shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
just why can't you
Mm-hmm.
just
I think.
just be
Mm-hmm.
just be good?
Like I'm really upset with the direction of Mandalore. The first two seasons were good, but then like I think they went on break and they made Boba Fett like a stand-in season, and that show sucked. But like the two best episodes are Mandalorian episodes, which should have been season 3. I hate that they're in Boba Fett because if you skip Boba Fett, you're not going to understand why Baby Yoda's back, right? Like, cause whatever. And then like what I would have done was like the first two seasons are like the Grogu Yoda plot, you know what I mean, the Baby Yoda plot, and I would make the second two seasons should have been like going back to Mandalore and like taking back Mandalore, like a big epic 2 season arc where they like go find Mandalore, like bring back their like people, you know, unite their people or whatever. But they like I believe they were gonna make a show called Knights of the New Republic, and it was gonna have that actress who was like fired from Mandalorian. So like that show got scrapped because she was fired. So
Oh,
basically, the third season of Mandalorian is just like recycling scrapped episode ideas from that, and like they don't fit, and like the show just ends with like they rush the Mandalorian planet thing. It's like so rushed. They rush everything, like the whole like was the bad guy or his like motive or whatever. Like I don't want to split, but they reveal the bad guy's plan, and like basically Mando just pushes the self destruct button and just destroys it instantly. So like I guess 2 seasons of setup, push of a button gone,
for real.
and then like
Cause
the
see,
next season's or the movie's gonna be him as a cop, and I'm like I don't want him as a cop. I want him to be a bounty hunter. The Star Wars cops are lame. He has a house now. He's like a
see
father with a house.
see that's the one of the other bigger gripes I have with Star Wars or Disney
Hmm.
Star Wars is that they have no fucking plan. They have
Hmm.
no roadmap. They have no blueprint. They have nothing planned
Hmm.
out
They
properly.
might
Like,
they might
well, they
have one
do.
now. But like,
They might wouldn't have now, but when they did the
mhm,
sequel trilogy and the spin-off movies, the Star Wars story movies,
mhm,
that was it. They didn't plan anything, and everything else they're doing now for
mhm,
like books and everything, they're literally making up on the fly
mhm,
to compensate and make up for the fact that they got rid of decades worth of
mhm,
lore and books and media,
mhm,
and it's just like they're just forcing
mhm.
themselves to play catch up.
It's like a weird double-edged sword for me, where it's like, I want there to be a Star Wars plan, but for the individual franchises. Like, I don't want it to be like the MCU, which should be like, they should each have their own trilogy with their own plan. But like, and there's just kind of like, the connection in lore should just be like fun, like, oh, this is connected, but like, you don't, doesn't really matter.
That's what the original
Mhm,
expanded universe did, and that's what makes everything
mhm.
so uh
It's like,
worthwhile.
it's like really a shame that the reason Mandalorian was a hit was it was standalone about new characters and it was
Hmm.
refreshing. It wasn't really
Yep.
connected to anything. It was new
Yep.
characters, but like familiar aliens and like, Mandalorian, a Yoda, like familiar. It was familiar but new. But
Yep.
then with season 2 and then all the shows that follow Mandalorian, it's about like, look, it's Cad Bane, look, Ahsoka, look, Maul's back, this, that, this, that, this, that, cameos, 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 and it's like, it's not Marvel. Frick out! Stop setting up shit. I don't
Yeah.
want. I don't want setups. I want a good Mandalorian season. Like everything is set up now, and it's like, yeah, I want a plan, but like, I don't know. Like you introduce new characters, and it's like they just feel like spin-off bait, and it's just like, I want to watch the character show, not like spin-off bait for a new character that I don't really care about. You know what I mean? Like maybe
All right.
like let's make a season about the character the show's focusing on. And if there's a fan favorite character that people like, then you can consider a spin-off. Not like, oh, we're gonna make this. We're gonna have a character. We're gonna have these characters in the show, and they're gonna keep coming back, and we're gonna sell a bunch of toys, and people are gonna love them, like Luke or whatever. It's just like, no, no. You should like let the fans pick which character they like, and like, oh, characters really gravitate toward this character. Maybe we should give them more screen time next season. Maybe we should give them a spin-off.
And see,
I don't know.
that's the thing is that's where they if Disney Star Wars just falls off completely is like what you said was right. Give the
Mm,
fans what they want because
mm,
that's how you make money and that's how you
mm,
make a successful franchise and everything.
mm,
But that's what Disney is doing, going the reverse,
mm.
that fucking opposite.
They're like trying to speed run new iconic characters, but it's like you can't like we can, but it's like very obvious, like we can tell, like, is this character spin-off bait, because I don't really care about these TV characters. I just want to,
Right.
like, I just want the show to focus on the main characters of the show, and like the fan favorites can get a spin-off. Like, who knows, maybe the characters that they want to make be spin-off bait maybe could be likable and like get a good spin-off, but like you can just tell that they're just there to be like, aren't they cool? You gonna buy toys of them? And it's like, no, they're too new, I don't really care. Like, I thought Mandalorian was gonna be like, like Mandalorian's kind of episodic, where they like he meets characters on different planets or whatever. And I assumed all the characters were one-off characters, and they were fine. But then season 2, they're like, guys, this background character, they're back. Isn't that exciting? I'm like, I thought they were one-offs. I don't really care. It's just kind of like, are we just? I guess it just feels like they're recycling the cast, so they don't cast new characters. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I think in Boba Fett, there's a character in Mandalorian season 2 who had Boba Fett's armor. I think his name's Cobb Vanth, and then like Mandalorian like takes the armor back. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
he comes back in Boba Fett. He gets killed off by Cad Bane, but like they bring him back, like, oh, it's Cobb Vanth, you guys, isn't that cool? I'm like, I don't care about Cobb Vanth. He's fine, but like he's not that exciting. And then like the end of the show, there's a secret ending where like he's in a bantha tank being like saved. So like, oh, Cobb Vamp is alive, guys! Get excited for Cobb Vamp season spinoff.
Why?
Like, who gives a fuck about Cobb Vamp? Yeah, he's cool. Like, he's fine. He's just a guy, though. But like, why is this the end credits scene? Who cares?
Ow, Shabby, why you hit me?
Somehow, Cobb Vamp has returned.
Oh, for real? Like, what the fuck? That,
They
like,
have
know your fucking audience.
They have a refusal to kill off characters. Like, people have pointed out, like, I believe Cad Bane dies, but like he has a little blinking light on his thing, like so people think he's still alive.
God.
I don't know.
Like the reverse MCU movies, because like the MCU, one of the bigger problems that they had at the start was they killed off all their villains so much. Like, how are you supposed to like have anything reoccurring in the future? Because that's the whole point. Like superheroes in comics and everything is like their villains come back, but like you're killing them off, dude. Stop. And then Disney Star Wars is like, let's not kill anybody off, except beloved characters everybody loved throughout the franchise.
Like,
but whatever.
Like, we could kill them off, but then we can't sell merchandise.
That hasn't stopped the old Star Wars characters selling off the shelves.
I don't know. I remember when Rebels was coming out, and there's like Grand Inquisitor action figures, and then I watched it and they kill them off, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like you introduce a character, you sell a bunch of merch, kill them off, then like I just think kids are just like, well, now I just don't care about this character, and I have this crappy merch.
Yeah, that does suck. Like, you have this cool toy,
but like, oh, they died and they were lame. They died and it was lame.
Yeah, a bad character overall, and then they get killed off regardless. So like, what the fuck was the point?
Grand Inquisitor is so funny to me because he dies in Rebels, right? But they bring him back at Obi-Wan, and like he gets killed again. And like Obi-Wan's a prequel.
Yeah.
So like they're like, oh my god, this new bad guy character's so badass. She killed the Grand Inquisitor, but like it doesn't work because like we know he's still alive. He's in fucking Rebels. This isn't cool. This is just confusing and lame. We know he's not dead.
How did he survive though?
I don't know. Like everyone survives lightsaber stab wounds in that show, so like he just survived.
Which is fucking hilarious considering that in Acolyte they actually kill people off being stabbed with lights. That's something in Ahsoka that pissed me off. It was like three separate people get stabbed with a lightsaber, but lived to tell the tale. Yet anyone else is dead as disco.
And then you have the whole concept of force healing from Baby Yoda. So it's like, can just every Jedi do that, or is it just Baby Yoda?
Sorta. It like the force healing thing has actually been a thing since again back in the expanded universe. Thanks for being original, Disney. But it has been a thing. It's just more or less, like resetting like dislocated bones and like healing minor wounds and whatnot. I don't know what extent Baby Yoda can do it, but it is possible.
I think someone got like bit. I think Mando got like either bit or stabbed by a hairy rhino, and then like another like the head of the bounty hunter guild got attacked by a pterodactyl or something, and he just healed like his bite mark, like a big ass bite mark or something. So maybe it's just like flesh wounds.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing is like, isn't like the whole plot of Revenge of the Sith Anakin running away to like save someone from almost dying? But like apparently Jedi's can just do that.
Yeah, it's not so much like I said, like, healing of like a brain tumor or something like that, but it's like, like minor injuries or shit like that.
Yeah. I don't think Baby Yoda's ever used the Force healing again ever since the first season. So they just kind of like introduced that. I think that was just in the show to like visually show he has the Force. If that makes sense. Like have the cool epic music. Like what is Baby Yoda doing? He has magic powers.
Shababby's still lost dirt buys. Where you lost at Shababby?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you came into this conversation like at the like almost towards the start, but like we're talking about Star Wars and the deconstruction of media as we know it
They're lost long ago.
in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
You have any questions or anything
I
that
have
needs to?
a question. How does Yoda age work? Like, I want to know how old Baby Yoda is canonically 50 years old, right?
Right. Yeah.
How old does he have to be a talking child? Like a teenager or a talking child?
Uh, It'll be like 50 years for him is still like toddler size, so I would probably assume maybe another 50
150?
years.
150 years?
About that.
Damn, then I don't think. How long does the sequel trilogy take place from The Mandalorian?
That's actually a good question. It said what like 15 years before the sequel trilogy. Let me check. Where does Mandalorian take place? Or when does? Oh yeah, when does Mandalorian fit in the timeline? 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. Ooh, so yeah, that's quite
Hmm. And then, so it's like right after the original trilogy. So, like, when is the sequel trilogy? Is it like 50 years?
No, because I'm pretty sure that would make Ben like 40 then.
I mean, they could, like, Han and Leia could have had kids, like, late in their age. Like, they could have been old and had kids. Because Luke was fucking old as fuck when he almost killed Ben.
I think it's because they didn't really use any CGI to make him look younger.
Mhm. Because, like, I think it would be kind of neat if they're gonna do, like, a Rey spin-off movie, and that's gonna be even further in the future, probably. Like, maybe, like, 5-10 years, you know what I mean? So let's say the sequel trilogies take place 40-50 years after Mandalorian, right? And then, like, the Rey spin-offs are gonna be, like, another 10-15 years. That's, like, whatever. Baby Yoda could be a child and talk in the Rey movies if she's starting a new school.
So with like the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy is supposed to be
Like,
19 years,
mm. Okay, so I guess
and
19 years.
uh
Probably the same with the
16
sequels, right?
additional 3 years between the original and this. Oh, it's 30 years
Okay,
after the. So it's like 25 years after the events of the Mandalorian.
okay. How many years? 30?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, by the time we get to the Rey trilogy, it would be 40 years. 40, 45. So, like, Baby
No, no,
Yoda
no,
would
no,
be.
no, 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 no. It's 30 exactly.
Okay. But I'm saying, like, when they make new Rey movies, I'm gonna assume there's a time skip. Let's assume there's
Probably.
let's assume there's like a 10 to 15 year time skip. Because movies like to do 10 years. Uh, that'll be like, say, 40-45 years in the future from Mandalorian. So, like, Baby Yoda will be, what, 95 years old?
About, yeah.
So, like, he should be able to talk. I think they hinted that he was trying to talk in the last season of Mandalorian.
Nice.
Like, I think there's a scene where it's like, and there's like Mando, what's her name? What's the girl Mandalorian's name? Bo-Katan and Yoda are in the ship, and the Mando's like, "This is the way, Katan. This is the way." And then Baby Yoda's like, and they both just like turn around and look at him, like he tried to speak.
Aw.
He just little baby grunts like, "This is the way." And this Mando just kind of turns around and looks at him like, "Huh?" Also, like, Baby Yoda is not allowed to be a Mandalorian until he's able to speak the creed. Like, he's too young to speak, so, like, he can't say the creed, so he's just an apprentice right now.
Mandalorian Jedi, let's go.
Well, I don't think.
Like,
I guess Baby Yoda isn't a Jedi because he dropped out.
shame.
You ever see the meme where it's like, baby, like saying that Baby Yoda survived to be in the same school with Kylo Ren and Luke? You know what I mean? Where it's like them in school, and Kylo Ren's like, "I like you, Grogu. Don't come to school tomorrow."
Oh God.
And then Baby Yoda just like turns around, and looks up, huh? And that's how he survives. I like you, Grogu. Don't come to school tomorrow. That's a terrible joke. Poor Baby Yoda. Poor Baby Yoda. He survived Order 66, that genocide. If he was in like Luke's class, he survived. He probably survived Ben's. And then like Rey's like, "Hey, I'm starting a third school. Want to join?" No. No more Skywalker schools. No. Too much traumatic flashbacks.
It's actually funny you mentioned that because like Grogu, technically, canonically speaking, is the only one that has survived all 9 movies.
Though that we don't know if he's gonna be in the sequels or if he's still alive, technically. But like, I don't assume they're gonna kill him off as a baby. They're not gonna kill off a baby unless I guess Moff Gideon wins and just murders him to piss off Mando. That would be one hell of a movie ending for the Mandalorian movie.
Oh yeah.
Moff Gideon coming back like, "I lived, bitch," stabs Baby Yoda. The world would cry.
The whole world would cry. But like, yeah, Disney would not do something like
They're
that.
not gonna.
They would not take it.
They're not gonna kill a baby.
They're not risk takers like that.
Mm-hmm.
Babby posted feet on Twitter. Yay!
You posted feed on Twitter for free?
For free?
You gotta charge for that, Shababi. Don't just give that away.
I did see that Shababi actually did post like a silhouette of the future model.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Really
like
nice.
they said they were cooking something.
The Rock.
Oh, I see the grippers. Okay, they're covered. It's fine. Stretch. But yeah, like I would not be surprised if they put Grogu in like the Rey movies. But then that's gonna make people like question, is Mando still alive? Man, it would have been so cool if we had 2 seasons of them like trying to go back to Mandalore, and it ends with like Mando becoming like the ruler of Mandalore, and then have like a Rey sequel where he's just like this old wise leader of the planet Mandalore with like baby Grogu as his knight. Like that would be so cool. But like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like they keep like Rebels and like Mando. They keep like, oh, Bo-Katan's gonna be the leader of Mandalore, and nothing against Bo-Katan, but wasn't she a founding member of the Death Watch and caused her society to crumble in the first place? So like, obviously she should like seek redemption for what she's done, but like, I don't think she should be ruler. Because she got her sister, she got her sister, who was the previous ruler, murdered inadvertently. Even though she like, oh, I don't want to work with Maul. She was still like a founding member of Death Watch who like destroyed Mandalore. So like, I don't think. I don't know. I would have prefer her like being like have a character arc. She's like, all right, I've been trying to be the ruler of Mandalore for so many years. I'm not fit. You're clearly better for the job. I resign. But like, I don't know. It just feels weird that she's like, oh, she's such a good hero, guys. She's gonna rule Mandalore. I'm like, she helped destroy it by accident. Like she left before it was destroyed, but still, she was part of that group that destroyed it. Hi, Dragon. We're talking about Star Wars. How you doing? That's for Dragon. We were gonna do Chain together, but Jinx is late, so we're talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, very late.
I think it's been longer than 45 minutes.
I think you're right.
Maybe. Well, imagine them like popping into the chat to lurk for a second. And they see us geeking about talking about Star Wars crap. And like, nah, I'm out.
Oh, probably.
I'm good, thanks. But yeah, I was looking at the prices for like the Dark Bane books. It looks like it's gonna be like 40 or 40 for all of them, which isn't too bad.
Oh,
but like one of them is buy two get one free. Like buy 2 items get one free. But the other 2 books don't have that offer. So like I have to get 2 random things. I'm like, it's a trilogy. This would have been perfect. I could have got them both for 20.
Where are you looking for?
Amazon.
Amazon? Let me see.
Like the third book is like buy 2 books get one free. Oh, Miss Info's broken for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with her. I'm gonna X out the thing and reopen it. Cause I don't know why she's not working. A little copy paste that for you.
Oh, the Star Wars Legends Collection North Bane Trilogy book set by Drew Capershin, Path of Destruction Rule 2 Dynasty Evil. Oh, that's the special art printing of it. Do they have the other
Dakota,
one?
how many times do I have to say I want you all for myself? Why is Jambi here?
Oh my god, my TTS character is jealous of you, Jambi.
But what I do?
Miss Info says that like I'm all to herself, and like why is Jambi here? Dragon keeps making her possessive of me.
Oh, this is weird. I don't know why. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why these are the only Legends books available. I mean, I'd like to buy them myself if they are hardcovers, but like,
there are
$3.
hardcovers, but they're $40 for the hardcover versus $10 for the paperback. Was I looking at the right books? I looked up Darth Bane trilogy, and they're like yellow. There's like 3 of them.
The Essential Legends Darth Bane Trilogy Collection book set is $40 for 3 books, which that's off, but like I don't know. They look.
I think if you buy them separately, it's like a couple dollars cheaper.
Yeah, but I think taxes will get you on that.
No, I went to the cart. I go to my Amazon cart to see what it costs with the taxes, and it's like a couple bucks cheaper.
Have you ever looked up on thrift books?
I might have looked up discount books, and like that might have been one of the websites, but it didn't look like they had it. I might just get it at the library, but part of me wants to get new.
If you want to get new, you can, but like I don't know, it's just
expensive.
A little, because it's $10 for the Path of Destruction for the paperback version. But if you go for the same thing on thrift books, which are supposed to be a lot cheaper, but
the same price.
Exact book is actually it's $5 more.
Dang. Wait a minute. It says save $2. List price -10. What does that mean? Does it mean it's like $10 on other sites? But that means it costs more. Am I misreading this?
Possibly.
Oh, this is a new copy. What's like a very good copy?
Oh, hello. So if you go
the very good copies are more expensive. Cool. The used copies are more expensive. Nice. Let me try.
Oh,
wait. Let me try a different one.
Okay, so there's paperback, mass market paperback, which is what I have apparently. But on thrift books, you can get the hardcover of Darth Bane Path of Destruction
Mm-hmm.
For an acceptable condition
Mm-hmm.
for $12.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to get that.
Mm-hmm. Like the new version.
Not the new version. It's actually an original copy.
Okay, like the original book art. I kind of want the new art.
Yeah, the new art does look good.
Though, like when I looked at the bundle on Amazon for the 3, someone in the comments said that like it's the UK printing, so they're smaller than like the US books, and they showed it next to a Darth Plagueis book, and it's like slightly smaller. So that means like if I got other Star Wars books, they wouldn't match on my shelf because they'd be different sizes. That's kind of like I want them to match.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way with the books I have as well, because there's the Fate of the I really actually need to complete the Fate of the Jedi books.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, but the Fate of the Jedi books all are like the same height and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and they have all of the exact same like
Mm-hmm.
book covers on them, and they look
Mm-hmm.
really nice together. But then you have all of my other Star Wars books that are
Mm-hmm.
technically from the exact same or different
Mm-hmm.
storylines, and they're all the same ones, for example,
Mm-hmm.
but they vary from like the Star Wars mass market printings
Mm-hmm.
to some of
Mm-hmm.
the original hardcovers,
Mm-hmm.
and even the hardcovers, the original ones, lined up right next to each
Mm-hmm.
other, are not the same height.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might just take a trip to a bookstore and just see if they have them. Maybe not buy them, but see if they have them.
Oh yeah, they probably will. But it'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be up price, since it's
Mm-hmm.
uh so storybooks
Mm-hmm.
are like out of printing, and unless you
Mm-hmm.
go with like the Disney Star Wars printing.
Oh yeah, I'll probably get the Disney one because they're newer. And like the art looks nice.
I mean, they're newer. It's just a shame they're not hardcovers.
Yeah, no, well though. The sad thing is I might actually own the books because like, I used to like go to book sales and I would like collect VHSs, but I'd also collect Star Wars books in VHSs because like I thought they'd be worth something, but they're not. So like I should have a tub full of random Star Wars books, and it might be the one I might have the ones I need. I can't find it. I went and looked for the tub. I couldn't find the book tubs, and I don't really feel like moving tubs around, so I just didn't. So I don't want to go digging. So that's kind of a shame. I did find a tub full of my Star Wars VHSs, and I have like a dozen copy of the Phantom Menace.
Damn.
They were like probably like 25 cents each or $1 each. But like I have a ton of Phantom Menaces. I thought it'd be funny, like maybe one day if I like hand them out to people, like, hey, nice to meet you here.
I mean, those are probably
Phantom
worth
Menace.
money now.
They're not worth anything. No one buys VHSs. There's always articles like, "Oh, these VHSs will make you rich." No one's gonna buy them though.
I mean, collectors will pretty much buy anything if they're in the
Yeah, but like
good.
VHSs, no one cares. They'll just like buy them cheap. You can go to a Goodwill and you just find a copy. I have some really old classic Star Wars VHSs though. Probably ones without the edits.
That would actually be a pretty penny. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. They're not that great conditions, but I have like box sets. I have like individual tapes. Ones with the CBS Fox logo on it. They're like really old looking, like. But yeah, I have like a bunch of different box sets and stuff. They're probably getting ruined though in the basement because I don't know, like apparently VHSs can mold apparently, and like the film. There's a way to clean it, but like I don't know if I trust it. I probably could do it. You basically like open it up and like with a Q-tip with alcohol and rub the film. But like I don't want to do that. Though I don't know. They're probably not molding down there, but I don't know. Like VHSs are just getting old and aging, and they're in like a cold basement. I don't know. Oh, like I have like this one box set for the Phantom Menace that comes with a piece of film from the movie and a book. I think the piece of film is like a frame of Jar Jar. So I have like a little piece of Jar Jar, I think.
Jar Jar and all of us.
Oh, I have like this big. It's like a big box, and it's like a Barbie doll of Aurora Singh, and it comes with a book. I'm trying to sell it, but like no one's buying it. Because I don't need an Aurora Singh Barbie doll action figure. It's like still new in box. It started to get a little. I don't know. I kind of try not to buy collectibles because I don't know how to take care of them. Like it's not bad condition, but it's being moved around. It's probably getting. I don't know. It's pretty neat. It's a big box. Comes with a triangle-shaped book, which is weird.
Huh. Triangle.
If you hear farting noises, that's me squishing the squishy octopus.
The squishy.
You hear that?
Kind of.
Alright. I can make hand farts. Can you do that? Chat, can you do hand farts? It's like armpit farts, but with the palm of your hands. Like, armpit farts in the palm of my hand. Stretch. Hope we get some more good Star Wars shows, though. A lot of them have kind of like cheesy vibes that just kind of like to me. Like they're fine. I don't know. I think it's just like a modern writing, modern acting kind of thing, where like modern writers and actors now just have like this new kind of vibe that doesn't feel as like timeless as like older movies. I think it's just like a personal nitpick. I don't know, like I think a lot of ways to think is like in older movies, characters would just be acting like they're in the world and would be really cool. But now modern younger actors are just kind of like trying to act cool, and it comes across as kind of cringe. Whereas like you're not. My theory is like there's like a self-awareness to it where like they're not like acting in a Star Wars movie. They're acting like, oh, I'm in a Star Wars thing. Like they're like excited, and like it doesn't feel like immersive. They feel self-aware that they're in a Star Wars thing.
I want to do form face for my dancer. He's stopping me, and now I gotta make lunch. All right, you have fun with lunch. Hope you have a good eat.
Have a good day, Shababi. Head patos, Shababi.
Leftover burger and fries. Yum. I'm having leftover Mongolian beef right now.
I think I saw Soa like post about how like they remember like how like J.J. Abrams kind of like ruined Star Trek in a way. And then, like, when they saw that they're, like, moving over to Star Wars, they're like, oh no, I feel so bad for Star Wars fans in the future.
Yeah.
What you bought me for? The mystery box, chat. The J.J. Abrams mystery box. The sad thing is I'm pretty sure J.J. Abrams did have a plan. Like, he had, like, a guideline for what he wanted the trilogy to be. But then Rian Johnson came and he's like, I'm going to do my own thing.
For real.
I think Kathleen Kennedy is very friendly with people. She's like, yeah, you go do your own thing. Without actually, like, checking what they're doing, if it fits. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I remember hearing a story that when they were making Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, Kathleen Kennedy was busy she was basically only focusing on the sequel trilogy. She wasn't really paying attention to what's going on TV that much. So when like the sequel trilogy was over, she's like, okay, let me see what they're doing on the TV side. And she sees that Obi-Wan is the same plot as Mandalorian. She's like, what the fuck? So they had to like redo Obi-Wan, like go back for reshoots and shit, rewrite, because like it was gonna be about Obi-Wan taking care of a baby Luke, and they're like, that's just Mandalorian. So they like, so I believe they rewrote it to be like Obi-Wan going to save 10-year-old Leia instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of that I can believe, considering how much of hindrance Kathleen Kennedy has been to the creative development of Star Wars since she came on board. Like I said earlier about the rise of Skywalker kerfuffle behind the scenes. I mean, shit. She was also not made aware or wasn't informed about the Luke Skywalker scene at the end of the first season of Mandalorian, and she was pissed about that. And then after that, she took credit for that, even though she had nothing to do with that scene at all.
I mean, she's the head of Star Wars. She had to know. I don't know how much I believe that. She had to know they were doing something. Like, that's pretty big. Like, what's with this? Why are we hiring a de-aging studio? What are you doing? Why is that? Why are we spending $1 million for de-aging? Who are you de-aging? Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the budget. Don't worry about it. I find it funny how like there's some guy on YouTube or something does like deep fake videos, right? That he's like, I could have made Luke look way better than that. You know what I mean? So they're like, okay, bet you're hired. And then season 2 of I think Boba Fett, they had he helped animate de-aged Luke.
Dakota, I'm worried. Where's the money going?
What do you mean? Where's the money going? What do you mean, misinfo? Oh well. Apparently my TDS character's losing money.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, she had to know a little bit about Luke being in it. There's like, no, she's in charge. There's no way they could sneak that in.
I don't know, but the fact that I believe that a lot more than her having any part of it, considering that all the shit she's doing just to deconstruct Star Wars as a whole, and just allowing it to keep going the way it is even further with like the Acolyte and shit, and then just the fact that she came out and said, I want to look up the exact quote what she said about this.
What about there not being books to go off of?
Yeah, you already know what I was going.
Yeah, for. I know what you're talking about. I've heard about that.
No. I want to look the exact. I want to read off the exact words verbatim that she said in this interview.
I believe it was something the fact, like, unlike Marvel, we don't have like expansive lore or books like base off things, so we just have to do everything original.
Yeah, that's already triggering me, and that's just like loosely what she said. Kathleen Kennedy.
I think the whole concept of decanonizing and like is just because like they're like different eras of Star Wars. You get the prequel era, the original era, and the sequel era. I think they wanted to do their own Old Republic or whatever, so that way they can make their own original Disney era. So they decanonize. The
problem is that they keep on just pulling stuff from the old canon and just making it new again. Like, you can't do that. You can't. And this is actually an apt description of how Disney feels this way, where you're literally taking Coca-Cola and just slapping the Royal Cola RC Cola label over it. That's what you're doing. You are basically rebranding Star Wars into Star Wars. It's still cola, but it's Disney Cola now. But like, what's the point then? You could have just done that. Done it either way. So okay, where's the exact?
I went ahead and switched to just chatting.
Yeah, I think we could do that in a second.
We're at the 2-hour mark. You might as well switch to just chatting now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they basically like, we want our own original era where like we make all the lore. So
why
like
why didn't she just like make
her
own shit?
They can't take. There's no like, if they make a sequel era, that's just gonna be a sequel to the originals. The originals are canon. But if they make a prequel era, they can control all the lore.
That's the thing. You could have done that. And
That's
just
what they
done that
do.
regardless.
That's the Acolyte.
I'm saying they should have just done that in the first place and not done the sequel trilogy at all. Then they should have just focused on doing the High Republic first, and then as they're doing the High Republic, they're actually going to work out.
The sequels is where the money's at. They need the episode name. They can't make a spin-off first. They need the nostalgia money.
They could have just like not made the expanded universe non-canon and could have still done the High Republic is a whole new the High Republic is a whole new concept altogether.
But they didn't create it. They have to rely on the books, and they didn't create. They basically let's delete these prequels and start from scratch.
No,
so that way we get the credit.
That is the best part about the expanding universe.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
As a whole, is because they have hardly any connection. Because like it doesn't go from the Darth Bane trilogy straight to the Phantom Menace. No, there's like 1,500 years between that. So what happens between that 1,500 years? Oh, we have the High Republic era.
Yeah, but like here we are, like in their mind, like we could adapt these books, right? Or we can scrap all the books and make up bullshit ourselves and take the credit for it. Like we can make our own Jedi lore instead of like adapting already existing lore. Basically fanfic stuff.
Already existing lore. I mean, yes, it is basically fan. Well, that's the ironic part because they basically made the old expanded universe fanfiction. But that's the thing; they're already doing that. They're already ripping off a pre-existing lore from, like I said, about Thrawn. Thrawn was old canon.
Yeah.
But they brought him
But I mean,
back.
I just mean like an entire era. Era. They're just they want their own original era that's not tied to this.
They could have done that. They could have done that.
They could have, but
they already technically are doing that because it has nothing to do with the sequel, with the prequel, the sequel, or the original trilogies. That's the whole amazing thing about the expanding universe as an idea and a concept. You can have your own pre-existing idea made canon so long as it doesn't interfere with those movies directly.
But that's why they like deleted the old books and started their own books in that time period. They basically
didn't have to do that.
They wanted to make their own Jedi lore because they want to be in control.
They could have done that.
But they wouldn't be in control because it already exists. They want to like start from scratch. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying what they were probably thinking. Like we could adapt these books, or we can make our own books with our own ideas and like disregard everything.
You could have just done that.
That's what they're doing, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. You could have done that without having made the old canon non-canon. Especially since right now the current canon that they're working on has almost nothing to do with any of the previous established stuff back in the old canon. Like right now, the High Republic has nothing to do with the movies, the shows, or anything. Well, except
but like I'm assuming like the old books, they have like lore of like the origin of the Force, the origin of Jedi, the origin of Siths. But like this is like. We want to do our own original origin. We want to disregard the old canon and make like this is like they can like advertise the movie like this is the origin of the Force.
But that wouldn't make any sense though, even in their own words, in their own rights. Because yes, there are books talking about the original Jedi and the original Sith, and it's actually a fascinating story too. Back when there was actually harmony in the Force, where you were both trained in the light and dark side of the Force. And if you leaned onto any one of them, you get sent to a specific training facility on specific moons where they try teaching you to be balanced again. And I like that. And then some asshole decided to get greedy and became dark side, and then another person became a bit more goody two shoes, became more light side, and that's how we got Sith and Jedi. But do you want to know how, like, so far in the past that is? To the movies that like you have so much fucking leeway to make up your own shit and not hinder like or demonize those established lores. Like take a ballpark number. I'll look it up. You take a ballpark number. Actually, I had the book too. Let me look at the book because I actually had the book.
Hello, Dong Chen. How are you doing? Oh, fucking Christ!
What happened?
Bot, let me get the video up. Hi, Bot. How you guys doing? How you doing, robot?
Okay, so yeah, I got the book right now. It's called Star Wars: Dawn of the Jedi.
Hold that thought. I'm playing a loud video. Let me ban this person. Fuck you very, very much. Cause we hate what you do, and we hate your whole crew, so please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. There we go. Video's almost over, 1 sec. Your PNG's above the video, so it looks like it's saying we're banning you.
Woohoo!
Okay, there we go. Let me minimize this so it doesn't play when I open up OBS. Alright, continue.
Okay, so take a ballpark number about how far the old Star Wars lore went, and tell me how they could not have just made the High Republic, which was set. Let me remind you, it was set 500 years before the events of the movies. How they couldn't just, made the High Republic without. Yes, we're nerds, Shababi. They couldn't just add the High Republic without, getting rid of decades worth of books and video games, cartoons, and other media that are both beloved and people actually spent their hard-earned money on. Just take a guess. Like, how many years do you think?
Like, how years in the future in lore-wise, or how many years those books
In the
are
past.
old?
Or, like, lore-wise, how old it is.
Like 500?
37,000 years.
Oh,
before
shit.
the events. Before the events of the movies.
So
So
is that the new show or the books?
No, this is the book I just looked up. That's in my hand right now. It's Legends. It's from
They're
the
pulling
old
out the
canon.
manga chat.
It's from the old canon expanded universe. And I'm looking at it because, like, here's the cool thing about the Star Wars books from both the old and new canons of Star Wars. So this is what I like about this, is that Disney Star Wars even knows they fucked up, because they brought back the timeline of events at the start of each book now. And it gives you a long list of, like, here's this book and where it takes place in the timeline, and then this book and where it takes place in the timeline shit. And literally, Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void is the very first book talking about any sort of lore for Jedi and Sith, and it takes place exactly within the time span of 37 to 25,000 years before the events of A New Hope. So how can 500 years before the events not be placed easily anywhere within that time frame, not to conflict with tens of thousands of years worth of lore? And that's the sad thing too, is that how they depict the High Republic fits perfectly well with the Old Republic, the end of the events of the Old Republic, the end of the events of the Darth Bane trilogy, even. Because right now the Jedi are complacent, they're vast in numbers, they're at the highest they ever been, and there's nothing to challenge their might in any regard whatsoever, except that one Sith and his acolyte, which is basically the Darth Bane trilogy rule 2. Because, there's always one master, one apprentice, one who holds power, and one who seeks power. And there's, like, even right now, even though they're two different continuities at this point, which is fucking stupid to even say, you can literally tie in the acolyte towards the events of the Darth Bane trilogy, especially since it's literally based, like, if we pull up, like, timeline events side by side, the acolyte takes place 1,000 years, 1,000 years after the events of Darth Bane.
After.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they could still do the prequel. They could still do the books then.
They could have. That's what I'm saying, is that they didn't need to make it non-canon. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what.
Well, they can recanonize it.
That's the problem, though, is that they. Well, and this is the hypocritical thing about Kathleen Kennedy, is like, let me go to that quote and let me hydrate real quick. I'm taking
Okay.
hydrate. Let me
Yeah,
hydrate
I
real
okay,
quick.
you hydrate. It's like brief Jambi. Hello, Nami. We're nerding about Star Wars. How you doing? Head pets for Nami. Good morning. We were gonna play Chain together, but Jinx is late, so we're talking about we're talking about Star Wars lore. How you doing, Nami? Stretch. Fluffin' nerds, yeah. I can't deny it. I can deny it no longer. I am
Thank
nerd.
you for the hydrate. Okay, yeah. Let me read off the quote from Kathleen Kennedy herself. Let's
I'm
see
alright.
what that
Sleepy? Aw. Well, good morning,
overpaid
Nami. I hope
lady
you're
said.
doing good.
Okay, so Kennedy's full quote about books and comics.
Mm-hmm.
The past 2 days have been full of discussion of Kathleen. Oh, this is a post from Reddit, by the way, and who literally took the exact article.
Redditors.
The past 2 days have been full of discussion of Kathleen Kennedy's comments, so I think it's worth looking at the full quote for her Rolling Stones article. Oh, it's Rolling Stones too, damn. If you want to read the entire interview, here's a link to the Rolling Stones article. But here's the relevant question and full answer. Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow was slated to write and direct episode 9 before you brought J.J. Abrams back in. Is this final entry in the trilogy a particularly hard nut to crack? And this is what she said. Every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. There's no source material. We don't have comic book. And we don't have 800 page novels. Well, you don't. There actually never has been. Just a side note, there has never been a 800 page Star Wars novel, but there have been dozens of 400 to 500.
I just realized something. I just had an epiphany. Do you think they decanonized the books so they don't have to pay royalties to the creators?
That wouldn't make any sense.
Like they can publish the books, right? They can publish. They have the right. They own the rights to the books, right? They can publish the books, but if they adapt it into a movie, they have to like credit them and like give them royalties for the idea. Or they could just like make their own original things with the characters.
The problem is that they're already bringing back a lot of the characters from the old canon, like Thrawn, and then even making him live action too.
But
so
they're not. He gets credited, but he doesn't. They're not adapting his book. They don't have to like mess with the rights fully because they own the character, but not the store. They have to share the money with the story.
They have to share the money with the characters too, because there's actually. So in the 90s, there was a Old Republic era Star Wars
Nami
comic.
says they forgot Star Wars started as a book series. No, it started as a movie, and then the books came after.
Yeah. So in the 90s, there was a comic, and there was a character named Nomi Sunrider, who at the time was basically the Skywalker of her era, where she was just a powerful Jedi and whatnot. And she was supposed to be a relevant character throughout Star Wars lore going forward. And the problem with that, though, is that the person who made the comic owns the rights to the character. And she hasn't been brought up in Star Wars lore going forward. The only time she's ever brought up in Star Wars lore was in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game, and it was actually a complete accident because that name,
dear boy,
Nomi Sunrider, was supposed to be censored out of the game, but they forgot to do that, and so it was published for everyone to hear and see this old Jedi talking about how he fought with alongside with Nomi Sunrider. And yeah, other than that, the person who created Nomi Sunrider owns the character, even though it is part of Star Wars canon.
Oh, yeah.
So
I would not be surprised if it has something to do with like paying or crediting creators, because Hollywood loves not crediting people now. Like Nintendo, they remastered Metroid Prime, and in the credits they don't credit the original people who worked on the original version. They just credit the copyright of the game. the Mario movie, they had the DK Donkey Kong song. They did not credit the writer of the song from the original game. They just credit the copyright of the game. And like, I believe the new Ghostbusters movie used concepts and character designs from the animated show, but did not credit the animated show or the creators of those characters. Because it's technically inspired. And then they act like my own original ghost.
Yeah, that's how you get around copyright and stuff. Is that it has to either be inspired. You can say it's inspired, or it's
So that's what I'm saying.
A parody. It's parody.
Here's the thing: like Star Wars. They probably own the rights to all the characters in future stories, and they own the rights to re-release books. But if they wanted to like adapt a story, maybe they have to like pay the writer for like credit. But instead of doing that, they're like, oh, we're just going to take the character we own and be inspired by it and do like an original thing, and we don't have to pay no one.
I don't know. I think that just pisses off a lot more people since around.
Oh, it does, but they don't care. They don't care.
Well, the problem is that Disney would be better off with gaining a lot more money if they didn't do that, compared to how they are losing money, like a shit ton of money now for what they did do.
Yeah, but corpos are stupid. They think of like, oh, we'll do this elaborate thing, it'll save us money, but they end up wasting money, like the whole Warner Brothers crap.
Yeah, and because they underestimate how fans are very faithful to their source material, to the point where they will bitch at you for doing something improper or not correct. And it can be a little bit much, but that's how deep Star Wars fans are. And that's the fucked up part, is that because of shit like that with like the sequel trilogy or the Acolyte, is like when they point out and criticize all the wrong stuff, all the stuff that is poorly written and everything, they just come up with like, oh, you're just bigots, you're sexist, you don't like this because there's a female main character. Bitch, literally the main one of the main characters in which one of these books? Technically two of these, is literally the niece of Luke Skywalker, who literally helms and becomes the Grand Master of the Jedi Order after him. So like, you can't come up with that excuse with like the failures of your own writing. Because literally, a lot of these books are like decades old, and they hold up much better than what's coming out in this day and age. Hell, one of these books came out in one of these book series that I'm reading, actually, which I really need to pick up again, is literally based like, oh, I'm sorry, not based. Well, it is based, but like not that kind of based.
Based.
It came out back in 2006, I think, just after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and they are pulling up they're talking about like some like strong political topics that actually hold up pretty well to this day.
How you doing?
But yeah. Let's go back to the quote real bad, because all I read was
we were gonna play Shade together, but Jinx is late, so we're just nerding about Star Wars right now.
Quoted on here. So it was like, we don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than passionate storytellers who get together and talk about what the next iteration might be. We go through a really normal development process that everybody else does. You start by talking to filmmakers who think exhibit that sensibilities. That
you want a red lightsaber? Oh, that would be cool.
Agree that the list is very small.
Kylo Ren's lightsaber is stupid because I feel like it would cut his wrist off, but like it's cool looking.
The experience and
I think Kylo's lightsaber's cool looking.
Job these movies are. So we try to be as thoughtful as we possibly can about making those choices. I would also agree that sometimes people get involved in normal development process, and then they realize, oh my god,
how you doing,
so much
Fuzi?
more than I ever imagined. So it's pretty common that when you're working on movies, you're not making choices and decisions that are necessarily work out exactly the
Haven't
way you
watched
want
that
them
far into the
from the
Star Wars
get-go.
movies. Oh,
It's
that's
been
fair.
it's been
The
an
sequels are kind of
evolving
but they're
process with lots of
fine.
people
But
and
like they're
lots
kind
of
of
opinions, and then you try and
But
shape
yeah,
something into
stomped
what
on the
is
Darth Vader
eventually
scene.
becoming.
Oh, are you
So
doing
I
a new
feel
doing a new
really
binge
fortunate
watch?
I worked with so many great people that have been absolutely
I
committed.
think I binge
JJ
watched them
being one of
a
them.
year or two ago.
He's a huge fan, incredibly passionate about Star Wars, and has been from the moment he and I sat down and started talking about this. And the more he got
Oh,
involved,
you
the more
restart
excited
them.
he became. So I
Oh,
think if you asked him today,
it's
he
pretty
probably
fun.
wishes he'd been in a situation where he could have done all three.
Stretch.
But as I said, these are
Sith
huge
happens.
projects that are very difficult unless there's 3 or 4 years in between. It's not
Mhm.
really physically possible. The, there's a lot to unpack here.
Mhm.
The biggest problem, like I said before, is like how I mentioned behind the scenes, how
Mhm.
Kathleen Kennedy was being very creatively obstructive with not only J.J. Abrams, not
Mhm.
only with Hayden Christensen, but guess who else was involved with the making of The Rise of Skywalker?
Who?
George Lucas himself.
Oh yeah, I heard
The
about
man
that.
who created Star Wars was brought onto this movie to help
The
helm it,
last one or all
and
of them?
the last one,
Okay.
The Rise of Skywalker. So the man who created Star Wars was literally creatively obstructed by Kathleen
Mhm.
Kennedy. And she goes on saying, "Oh, it's a hard nut to crack because we don't have lore,
Mhm.
even though it was your choice to not have lore in the first place."
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they did that
I mean,
with Lord of the Rings?
I
Well, I mean,
mean,
they kind of did with Rings of Power,
if
but
you're like adapting something like a different time period in Star Wars, yeah, I agree with you. But with the sequel trilogy, they're basically doing an original story. So, like, I guess with the sequel trilogy, there's technically isn't really any lore unless you like bring back old characters, which they didn't want to do. Someone farted on me. So, like, guess I can understand with the sequel trilogies. Why is that a? What's going on with the redeems? They're like the someone redeemed the fart redeem, but like the Among Us twerk is just like a ghost and not disappearing. Oh, there it goes. It's fixed. I don't know what happened. Am I mute?
no.
Okay, just try it. Yeah. Like, 'cause, I mean, like, the sequel trilogies were always going to be an original story. You know what I mean? Not based on anything. So, like, I guess I can understand where she's coming from. But, like, when it comes to, like, old things, like lore, it's like, well, you have lore.
It's just you killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, she says that the person, what was his name again?
I mean, they could have just decanonized everything that takes place after the original trilogy and kept everything that takes place before it.
Honestly, one of my roommate actually advocates for the point that they should have just rebooted like from scratch. That way they
Eh.
could. It would piss off a lot of people, but it would have given them a clean slate and would have done anything from however they want to go moving forward.
Like,
And
remake or like just like a reboot where it's the same universe but it's like
just
not a sequel.
reboot, like just start from scratch, start
So
from a
like
clean slate,
original
blank canvas,
characters,
original characters, everything original, and that way it would have make sense that like, hey, you're on your own 2 feet now, so at least you have an excuse as to
Mhm.
why you don't have no source material, no comics or 800-page
Mhm.
novels. You're on your own. You're on your 2 feet,
So
and
basically
then
what they did with Mandalorian that worked, like the first season.
yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. That if they did something from scratch on their own without having any ties to anything, it would probably have worked out in their favor in the long run. And they
Mhm.
could have done anything that they could have wanted to, and it would probably piss off some people
Mhm.
to an extent, but not as much as it does now. Especially since
Mhm.
in this day and age, Disney is just goading uh, audience members that just don't like what they're doing.
Mhm. They honestly should have just basically, honestly, what they should have done, they should have scrapped everything Skywalker related from the sequels and made the movie about Finn.
Hi, Fuzzy. Thank you for the high five.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how, like, Finn is the most what's the word I'm looking for? Missed opportunity character of all time. A stormtrooper who turns good and becomes a Jedi. That sounds cool and epic. The first movie was really good. I liked Force Awakens. The second one, they made him a sweaty coward, and he's not in it.
And there's reason for that too. And this is where we get into a little possibly geopolitical a little bit, because of how much how popular and how financially constrictive China was, because
they have like a racism problem, right? And they like movies that like star people of color. They just like don't like.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the point where John Boyega doesn't work with China anymore because of this, because of how racist they are towards black people, especially.
That's a shame.
It really is. And so, like, the movie poster for the Rise of Skywalker, for example,
they shrunk them really small, right?
They shrunk them compared in the Chinese movie posters compared to the American ones. And John Boyega himself was doing a cologne commercial that he based around a family gathering of his. And you know what China did?
What?
They recasted and made their own commercial, and they literally made it one for one the exact same thing. And John Boyega was fed up and said he'd never work with China again.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's really a shame. Like,
yes, it was.
And look, another thing about the missed opportunity about him is that they even like, like the last one, they like a ton of course correction. Like, oh, people didn't like the second one. We have to like fix things with nostalgia. Like, one of the things in it is that like they find some more resistant members, and they're like, oh, everyone here are former stormtroopers. And he's like, really? Why'd you leave the First Order? And like, I don't know. We just had a feeling. So like implying they have the Force, but it's like, it's too late. It could have been cool, but this just feels too little, too late, and now it's just cringe.
Yeah,
it's basically kind of like it's kind of like the same feeling that they did with Leia. Like, I don't mind Leia using the Force, but they kind of just do it out of nowhere. Like, oh, off screen she's just Force user. But like, okay, that's kind of cool, but it feels out of nowhere. I would have liked to see that. You know what I mean? Like, like last movie, Finn might be Force sensitive, maybe. He might be. That's what you wanted, nostalgia. Ooh.
That's the sad thing too. Is I like with Leia, for example, using the Force and everything. In the book, she becomes a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
So, or like the old canon books, I should say, she becomes a Jedi Knight. Like, why don't you just do that then? You make sense. She has a lightsaber. Give her a lightsaber too. And then that would explain why she can use the Force, but like how she did it in Rise or I'm sorry,
Last Jedi.
Didn't
make
she should have died. She should have fucking
it's
died.
So bizarre to me. I know it feels kind of mean and dark, but like, she passed away in real life, and that scene, when I was watching it in theaters, I was like, oh, they're just gonna write her off. This is how she dies. And then like, and then this weird CGI Leia like forces back to the ship, and I'm just like, huh? She lives? Like, what they could have done is they could have just tweaked the. I think they wanted her alive because they wanted Rey to be trained by a female Jedi.
Yeah, and
but like, they could have easily have just like had her pass, and this retcon it's where Luke survives. Like, he's the last living actor. Well, not. I mean, Harrison Ford's alive, but they killed him off. But like, he's the only living character and actor in the movie, so they could have just swapped. No changes need.
For real.
They just need to edit out the one scene where Luke dies. Just edit that 1 second clip where he disappears. Nothing changes.
That annoys me too because like I don't know. I just like when you go into like the new expanded universe canon, like so much of this is just so sexist in favor of strong female characters, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, in old Star Wars canon, there was a bunch of strong female characters as well. It's just n- that was natural though. They were naturally written to be strong female characters. This is forced as fuck to the point where it's just almost annoying to see. Honestly, it's almost a stereotype at this
I
point.
remember reading a tweet that was like an interesting kind of theory that's probably true, right? Where they said that they used to work at a toy company, like a big toy company, right? And like they did like a basically kind of like a market test with kids to see what they liked, and from their study they learned that boys, they want to be the character. They like, I want to be like Batman. But little girls, they want the characters to be like them. So that's why they make kind of girl characters kind of stoic and not much personality, is because they want them to be kind of like, they want little girls to project themselves onto it rather than want to be like them. Which is kind of an interesting kind of like interesting thing to like learn from the study. Like, I don't know, like kids are like, little boys like, I want to be like Goku. Little girls are like, I want Goku to be like me. Like,
Yeah, that's concerning.
I mean, it's an interesting study. So like their theory is like, maybe that's why Disney writes their female superheroes or like Rey the way they do. Basically, they want like little girls to be like, they wanted them to be as blank slate as possible so little girls could project themselves onto them. Like, I'm just like Rey.
That's stale bread. Like you are creating a stale bread character for anyone to project themselves onto. So you have no personality, you have no ideals, you have no charisma, you have nothing. You're literally a canvas, a blank canvas. Which like if you're starting for a character from scratch or like ground zero, for example, if you're starting from the ground up, then that makes sense. I can see that. I can see that being like a character in the making, right? And we grow with that character as the story goes on. And the thing about that is that in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, that's exactly what it is. You are a blank character from scratch that we get to grow alongside with as the story progresses, and we get to feel like we're growing powerful just alongside Cal Kestis as well, because we are growing side by side with him. That's why characters like Spider-Man is so beloved, because when his first concept came out back in the 50s, he was a 15-year-old teenage boy. And the thing about that is that you grew with them. Oh, he was a kid in the 50s. Oh, he was just graduated high school in the 60s, and now he's in the 70s, and he's got his first job at the Daily Bugle, and then next thing you know, he's in college. He's trying to have a wife and kids, and he's got a girlfriend, and all this stuff. Like you grow with him. You grow with him. That's why people are so attached to him. Why he's so relatable. Why he's so beloved. The problem is that compared to Spider-Man and Rey, is that Spider-Man's got like decades on Rey, but like he's just more relatable. He's more likable. He's more approachable. Rey is just
I feel like your
wet
example,
bread.
like compare Spider-Man to Rey. Like I can imagine a scenario with Spider-Man, like with his person, like how, because I know his personality, I know his character traits, I know how he would react to certain scenarios. Rey is just kind of like, I don't know how she'd react to something like that. Like
And
if
that's
anything,
bad
she's
writing.
just
That's bad writing. That's a bad
like
character.
I don't know what her morals are,
Yeah.
what her like motives are, what she wants, what she likes, what she dislikes. She's just kind of like,
Stale
uh,
bread.
yeah. I do genuinely hope her spin-off trilogy is good though, because I don't like disliking things. I want to enjoy. Disliking things is cringe. I want to enjoy things. I hate when there's something. I hate watching bad things. You know what I mean? So like, I hope they like make a trilogy and it's really good, and like oh, Rey's a good character.
See, that's I understand that philosophy because
Mm-hmm.
like when I watched The Force Awakens the first time with
Mm-hmm.
which was like a little class field trip that my
Mm-hmm.
class got to enjoy, and
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I was
Mm-hmm.
in my seat, and I'm like, wow, this is my Star Wars. Well, I won't say my Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
because like I kind of started off with the
Mm-hmm.
prequel trilogy, but like this is like the Star Wars where like I'm getting to see it for the like
In
the first
theaters,
time
first time.
ever in theaters. Yes,
Same. I was the same.
and then I liked it, I enjoyed it,
Same.
and then I was like, that was pretty damn good. And then the Rise of Skywalker, I was so excited for the Rise of Skywalker for all the wrong reasons, but that should have
The
been.
fan theory. The fan theory bait. It's not even the movie's. Well, I mean, it's kind of the movie's fault. The Force Awakens set up a bunch
But
of stuff, but like a lot
I
of
have
YouTubers
a
probably blow it overboard.
I I never I kept like any I kept away from YouTube, I kept away
Mm-hmm.
from Facebook, I kept away from all social media so I
Mm-hmm.
could try and enjoy this movie
Mm-hmm.
110% without any outside influence.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad. It was just
Yeah.
was bad. You want to know how bad it was?
What? How?
It was so bad that my parents and my sister and I all went to a dine-in movie theater where they
Mm-hmm.
serve you food and everything, and it's
Mm-hmm.
about an
Mm-hmm.
hour drive away. So we got there, watched the movie, and normally because I'm the nerd of the family, like they
Mm-hmm.
always ask me like follow-up questions to explain like lore and shit
Mm-hmm.
like that, kind of like how we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was dead silence the entire car ride home.
Damn.
It was that fucking bad.
Mm. Yeah, I watched it in theater. Like, I think I kind of in the mindset where like it's not necessarily a bad movie, it's just a really bad sequel. Like if you watch it as its own thing, it's fine. Like I don't think it's like a poorly made movie. You know what I mean? It's
There
just like when
was
you have the context of the previous movies and like set up for future movies, it's just bad.
See, it my coworker hates that
Mm,
phrasing where it's like it's not a bad movie, it's a bad Star Wars movie. He hates that
mm,
phrasing to a T with so much disdain because it just doesn't
mm,
work so well when you think about it like that because you're trying to get you're trying to create some sort of leniency,
mm,
you know. And Ryan Johnson, he does make good
mm.
movies like Knives Out. If you ever watch that movie, that's
I
a
have
really
not.
good
Mm.
it's like a
I've heard it's good.
detective.
I've heard of it. It's
It's like a
like
detective movie.
Hitchcocky kind of movie.
Yeah, well, I won't say Hitchcockian, but like it's like a good like
You know, like murder
murder.
mystery. Like,
Yeah, it's a good murder mystery movie. I'll say that. I'll give
mm,
it a credit for that. It's just he any of that he did for that movie
mm.
was not in Rise of Jedi. It just wasn't.
I bet it's probably a combination of him wanting to do his own thing with the source material and Disney being meddling. Like, okay, but you have to do these guidelines.
And that's
Like,
why I hate Kathleen Kennedy so much
it's like
because
there are Disney remakes that are made by talented filmmakers, but they're all bad. Like they're just hired to make the movie as like a money job, and they're like just to be a yes man, recreate it, and you get your money. They don't like no real creativeness in their live action remakes. So like I'm assuming like maybe Star Wars is like that too, where it's like they just hire names, like just direct a movie, but do what we want. We just need to hire a yes man, so that way we can credit a director. It doesn't really matter who directs it.
right.
Same with
And
Marvel. That's what like Marvel does. Marvel it works, but like it's starting to not work anymore.
yeah. And Shababi is right. It's like she just said a while ago, go by writing method. Characters first, and if it works regardless of gender, it's a good character.
Mm.
Like Ray's just not a good character.
And it's like there are really good female Star Wars characters.
A lot.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like this is a way you can tell when like a character's there to sell you. Like sell you that like look how cool this character is by merch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just kind of tell when it's like a product and not actually someone telling a story in a way. Like
Like
Ray kind of seems like they like I feel like Disney's trying desperately to speedrun classic characters like the classic trilogies, but like it doesn't work like that. You need to get like a talented writer filmmaker with an idea and let them cook, and not be like, what's gonna sell a toy better?
Yeah.
It's like written by an algorithm where it's like, okay, we need to have these nostalgic moments, reference this cameo, this, that, make the character more marketable.
And it doesn't help that Disney's like doing like some
Mhm.
very awkward Sweet Baby Ink shit too. On top of that, like, have you heard of that alleged uh CEO of or like vice president of like talent
Mhm.
hiring from Disney?
What about him?
So
Oh, is it the Ike Perlmutter?
I think so. The guy who
Oh,
was
I've
like,
heard of that guy. Feige threatened to quit if they didn't fire him.
yep, he was quite literally caught being recorded allegedly. I
Mhm.
don't know why it's allegedly. You can clearly see that's him and his voice, his face, and everything. Where he was saying like, "Oh yeah, if you're white, you're not gonna get hired at Disney, despite how great your
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
who are you thinking of then?"
There was a guy who used to be in charge of Disney. Basically, Feige had to talk to he was a higher up before like Feige got promoted, and basically he was like, we can't make Black Panther or Captain Marvel because people don't go to see movies with black people or women.
Oh God.
And
Oh
Feige's
God.
like, fire this racist, sexist asshole, or I quit. I don't want. I want to make a Black Panther and a Captain Marvel movie. And guess what? Once that guy was fired and Feige was able to make movies with more diverse characters, they made $1 billion each.
Oh yeah, which is good. And this was like back when I think around this time where diversity was much
Mhm.
needed call for.
Mhm.
But now in these days and age, 8 years later, this is like we're to the point where industries are just outright racist against white people.
Mhm.
Where like, have you heard about the Sweet Baby Inc. situation and
No.
shit? So there's this black woman who is like the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., which is like a consultant company. So
Mhm.
like let's say you're making a game involving Native Americans. So in case
Mhm.
you're not being like insensitive to that culture, you have consultants of
Mhm.
that are representatives of that those Native Americans, those
Mhm.
tribes and whatnot, and they help make sure you're not depicting them wrongly.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good consultation. That's something I think everything should have, so
Mhm.
long as you're not ruining or misrepresenting
Mhm.
cultures.
Mhm.
But Sweet Baby Inc. Is kind of like that,
Mhm.
adjacent.
Mhm.
And how that I mean that is that Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't hire white people at all.
Mhm.
I mean at all. And there's literally videos and quotes and
Mhm.
this and this woman who is the head like CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.
Mhm.
stating this on a podium. So this isn't just like her being like recorded behind a curtain or anything. No, this is her out front and center saying we don't hire white people because of this,
Mhm.
which is really fucking awkward. And recently this new president CEO of talents at Disney is
Mhm.
got recorded during his Bumble dates or whatever,
Mhm.
and it's the exact same thing. He literally said like, if you're white, you're not gonna get hired at Disney, regardless of how great your accolades are. I'm like, oh my god.
Mhm. Have you heard of the Ren and Stimpy reboot thing?
I have not.
Well, basically, they are rebooting Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
Obviously, the creepy ass creator is not involved. Like, get him out of here. He's not involved. John K's not involved. But they got like the people who worked on the original show who were like are fine, and probably the
Yep.
reason why the original was good. You know what I mean? They're like
Yeah.
they were like fuck John K. They were the reason why it was good. And like the new staff is mostly there's a larger, more female writing staff of younger writers working on it, and apparently the original people who worked on it would be like try and give pointers and like tell them like you need to have more oomph in the slapstick, or like this is why it worked in the original, like yours is fine but like it's like seems sanitized, and you know what I mean. Well, they basically
Right.
give it advice like this is how the original worked and why people thought it was funny. This is how the jokes work. But they were like apparently they were I guess they were treated basically like they were John K. Like, hey, you're an old white guy. We could do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like they're like, whoa, damn, like. So basically, they're just like on the show name only. Like they're in the writings room, but every time they try to give advice, they're just kind of shut down. Like, shut up, old guy. Shut up, old man. We got this. And I'm sure the Ren and Stimpy show will be fine. But like from the leaked pilot, it does look. There's no oomph to the slapstick and the humor. It just kind of seems safe. I don't know. I'm assuming maybe the newer writers had the mindset that like, oh, like the old show's like problematic, so like we need to like make it better, and then like treat it like, oh, you're the guys are the reasons why it's problematic, and it's like, no, I don't know. It seemed kind of rude.
Yeah.
Like I think the old people are just like, we might as well just leave because there's nothing for us to do here.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm trying to actually find that one video I was talking about the Sweet Baby Inc. CEO on the podium. I forgot what the actual video is. I mean, this was 4 months ago. This video came out, and it was pretty yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Baby Inc. Damn. I find this. So like I said about Sweet Baby Inc. being in consultation about representation and how it's represented properly. You know, if they did that for the sake of, you know, characters that are culturally diverse that need coaching to represent them properly, I can see that. But like so many games don't really have a cultural issue. Like a lot of the times, a lot of games are more or less, how do I say this? Unique, where they don't have like real life cultural influence. So like a person from Africa isn't is black, but like that won't transcribe or translate to like a whole like Star Wars, for example. Star Wars, like there's black people there, but they're not the same as that particular African person, IRL person. Mace Windu, for example, is a good example as a black character, but like if you look into his lore, he's not even human. He just looks human.
What do you mean he's not human?
He's not human. He's from a whole other planet where they just look humanoid. He's not human. Like if you look up,
are humans even a thing in Star Wars? I don't think they ever like given a species name, and they're just like on random planets.
It depends. Like they are humans, but then there are like humanoids, like Twi'leks, for example. Twi'leks, you know the tentacle hair people.
Yeah. So the evil smile dragon. What are you doing?
And that's basically, but that's basically what Mace Windu is, and to an extent. He comes from a planet where it is a little bit tribal looking, I guess. So I guess it can be represented as being like an African tribe planet, but like there's no direct correlation to IRL African culture. But yeah.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I guess like you have Mandalorians. I guess like it's more of like not really like a different species, like it's like a different culture, like their own planet.
but it's not culture. It's a species.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Like Mandalorians are
yeah.
human,
Well,
right?
Shababi just made a very good point. It's like Superman compared to the Earth humans.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting when you think about it. Like, there's like the real life scientific reason why some people have darker skin is because they absorb more light, right?
Yeah.
So like that's beginning like Africa's more like a hotter place. So like it would be interesting to like make sci-fi lore reasons why people are a person of color. Like that means they have like a hot place on their planet.
Oh yeah. And the thing about Sweet Baby Inc. though is
Mhm.
that they're so like what you just said and what I just said is logical. It makes sense, right?
Mhm.
So here's the one of the things that makes Sweet Baby Inc. Skeptical, I guess you can say,
Mhm.
is that instead of letting representation be representation
Mhm.
naturally,
Mhm.
they tried to force it on you.
Mhm.
What do I mean by that? So let's go with the God of War games, and
Mhm.
you'll probably understand where I'm going with if you've seen anything from like the latest game.
I know nothing about God of War.
Okay, so God of War is basically
He's a god of war and he kills other gods, right?
he's a God of War, kills other gods. He comes from Greece.
Okay.
He gets exiled from Greece and travels all the way to Scandinavia, where the Norse gods are. You know, Thor,
Mhm.
Odin, and whatnot. So
Mhm.
he gets with a frost giant lady, nice, and they have. It's kind of a spoiler if you haven't played the games. So if
Mhm.
anyone who has or plans on to,
I
spoiler
don't care.
alert.
I don't care. I'll just like forget it probably.
So he has a son with a frost giant lady, and
Mhm.
that son turns out to be
Loki.
Loki. Yes.
Oh, is Loki the frost
And
giant lady?
yep,
Oh, I was just making a joke because isn't Loki like a frost giant in the Marvel movies? Oh, like no, oh well,
yep,
legit. He
yep,
he
yep.
did it with Lady Loki. Okay, I
No,
guess
no,
that's
no.
my mistake.
He got with a frost giant lady,
Mhm.
and they had Loki as their
Mhm.
son.
So the new games is about
So,
Loki.
kinda, yes. Half Kratos from God of War, the original games, and half Loki. The second game that recently came out, God of War Ragnarok,
Mhm.
is like more fixated towards developing Loki a little bit better,
Mhm.
aka Atreus, because uh, Loki's mother
Mhm.
wanted to name him Loki because lore,
Mhm.
but Kratos wanted to name him Atreus
Mhm.
based off of the Spartan soldier he fought with during
Mhm.
the war,
Mhm.
and he got named Atreus.
Mhm.
Now, so I just talked to you about a Greek man going
Mhm.
to Scandinavia, basically two a olive skin culture
Mhm.
people to Scandinavia up north. So
Mhm.
you're expecting them to be like Caucasian and shit, right?
Mhm.
So in Norse mythology, Loki ends up
Mhm.
marrying a woman named Anger Border or something like that.
Mhm.
How do you pronounce her name? Loki's wife. Name. Uh, no, that's
Isn't
not
his
it.
wife Loki?
No. What?
Loki marries Loki in the Loki show. Well, I don't know if they get married, but he falls in love with Loki in the Loki show.
No, not this one. Anger Bro- Anger Borda. Boda. That's her name. And in her lore, she's depicted having like reddish hair and whatnot.
Mhm.
So a ginger. She's basically a ginger, which is fits well because Thor
Mhm.
in Norse mythology, the original Norse mythology, is
Mhm.
also ginger as well.
Mhm.
So like it makes
Was
sense
there
because it's part of
was
their
there a
culture.
reboot to Norse mythology?
No, there has not.
Like
Well,
the original
the thing
Norse
about this,
mythology? I'm like, was there a
well,
reboot?
the thing about this is that when the God of War games came out, they are loosely based on the actual
Mhm.
mythologies. So there's some leeway here and there, but they're always like mostly culturally accurate. So like
Mhm.
all the Greek gods have like olive skin and
Mhm.
whatnot. And all of the Norse gods all have white skin, of course.
Mhm.
All except Loki's wife.
What does olive skin mean? Is that like green?
A little like has like a greenish hue, I
Gotcha,
think.
gotcha. That's what I thought.
greenish yellowish hue, so
Mhm.
it's so you can tell it's white, but it's like got like a interesting tan to it.
Mm.
But they changed Ingerborda to a black woman,
Mhm.
which culturally speaking does not make sense.
Mhm.
Because if you go by was it
What is
geography?
this? Is this God of War still?
This is God of War still.
Okay.
This is Loki's wife.
Okay.
Loki's wife in God of War Ragnarok
Mm.
is black now.
Mhm.
Which I have a fan theory of why they did this, because the next set of God of War games is said to be based in Egypt.
Mhm.
And I have a theory for this because there's a giant world serpent named Jormungandr in Norse
Mhm.
mythology, and that giant serpent is the child of Loki and Ingerborda.
Mhm.
And I have a theory that's similar to Kratos leaving Greece to Scandinavia. I think
Mhm.
it's like Ingerborda leaving Egypt
Mhm.
to Scandinavia as well, but we don't have any confirmation of that yet.
Mhm.
But in Egyptian mythology, there is also a giant serpent who
Mhm.
is a child of a god as well. And so
Mhm.
I'm thinking that same giant serpent in Egyptian mythology is also Jormungandr.
Mhm. Okay.
But as of right now, we have no confirmation, and so for some particular reason, there is the only black person ever
Mhm.
in Scandinavia, and and people are a little. There are people who are like racist about it, like we
Yeah.
don't need no
Yeah.
characters
There's
here.
always the weirdos like that.
But there are people who are still a little bit
Mhm.
flabbergasted, rightfully so, because this is a geography
Mhm.
that's far from anyone
I,
being able
mhm.
to have darker complexion like
I
this.
guess it was just made with like the philosophy that like like this is all myth, like these gods or whatever. So technically they could be real, but they're probably not. You know what I mean? So like they could just like make their own interpretation of it, or like it's like
I
Hamilton logic where it's like basically kind of fan fiction where they just cast whoever they want. Like
That would make
Hamilton is like I believe
Hamilton.
everyone in Hamilton, everyone's white in like history, but in Hamilton they just cast like an entire cast of color just because it's neat.
That makes sense, and for like fitting for the right role, because like that makes sense, because like if you can fit the role for what
Mm,
we're looking for, perfect. The problem is that this is supposed to be a representation or excuse
mm.
me, variation on a
Culture,
dead religion. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and a culture as well. Yes, because
Mm-hmm.
imagine being a part of a country that um that is mostly homogeneously like Caucasian,
Mm-hmm.
and then one of your significant how you use it, deities
Mm-hmm.
is turned a whole other skin color
Mm-hmm.
that culturally and geography speaking as well
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an example of Sweet Baby Ink being yikes when it comes to forced representation.
Mm-hmm.
And the character in the God of War Ragnarok game who plays Ingerborda, plays her fine. She's a good actress, nothing wrong there, and it's just out of left field, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
But with and this kind of ties into a different series with similar. I don't want to say consultation from Sweet Baby Inc. because Sweet Baby Inc. had nothing to do with this. But have you heard of Netflix's Cleopatra?
I have not. Is that the one with Lady Gaga or Gal Gadot?
Neither.
Oh, I think they're making a Cleopatra movie, two Cleopatra movies, one with Gaga, one with Gal Gadot, I think. Or maybe Angelina Jolie, I'm not sure. I think there might be an Angelina Jolie one, and she's pissed that Gal Gadot got it. I'm not
And
sure.
so and so and that's actually good you brought those
Mm-hmm.
three up, because those are lighter skin complexion women,
Yeah.
because because Cleopatra is Greek.
Mhm.
So she would have a lighter olive skin complexion, like I mentioned before.
Mhm.
And you want to know what the Netflix show did?
What?
They made her black.
Mm.
Not only did they make her black, but they literally tried pawning off as a historically accurate show. And there's a secondary title to this. It was like Cleopatra, Queen of Africa. Egypt is not part of Africa. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's kind of strange.
It
Like
is,
if the show is like, if they don't touch about her like, race, and it's just about like Cleopatra's life, and the actress happens to be black, I guess you could just like, okay, the actress is like a different color, but like the show is still accurate. But if like Queen of Africa, like, that has nothing to do with Cleopatra, like she could be black for this version, that's fine, but like that's not historically accurate if you're like changing like history lore. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
you're right, Shababi. It was like olive skin tone would be like closely like to like a sandy brown color,
Okay.
but that's still noticeably like lighter than how they try to portray the Cleopatra or Angerboda.
Like the show's really literally called that. She's Egyptian, right? Oh, Greek, right?
Yeah, she's Greek. So Cleopatra is Greek, who was put in charge of Egypt after Caesar pretty much
Mhm.
told her to.
But why is the show called Queen of Africa?
Because they are, as far as I know, the person who wrote the show
Mm-hmm.
is a Middle Eastern woman, so she
Mm-hmm.
has no reason to write something she doesn't know anything about. And the same writer who came up with the show idea
Mm-hmm.
to make it historically accurate, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, says like we don't know if there's any actual evidence of Cleopatra being Greek or not, even though we do. And it got so fucking bad
Mm-hmm.
with the misrepresentation of Cleopatra and her politics and everything that the entire country of Egypt sued Netflix to
Mm-hmm.
cancel the show. And I think it did cancel afterwards.
Mm-hmm. It kind of reminds me of the whole thing where it's like again, like I said, like I don't mind if they cast a person of color as Cleopatra, as long as it's just telling the Cleopatra story, and it just happens the actress is that. But like you said, like they like changed her whole like where she was born or whatever. That's kind of like that's.
Where she was born, her ethnicity, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if they just made like Cleopatra show where the actress
Mm-hmm.
happens to be black, and then just go on from there, maybe
Mm-hmm.
make it like an original
Like
story
it's like
around
an
that.
afterthought. Like, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
they changed
like
her
as an
entire like
afterthought.
her whole where she was born. That's kind of weird. Like it kind of reminds me of the whole Ghost in the Shell scenario where people were really upset that they casted Scarlett Johansson as like an anime. Like they wanted a Japanese actress because it's based on an
Yes,
anime, and like
yes.
part of me was like, okay, that is bad, but as long as they like it's the movie will probably be fine. I watched the movie and plot twist. She has the brain of a Japanese girl, so it's canon in universe that she's been whitewashed.
Yeah, that's
They
fucking
could have
stupid. Especially
they could have just made the movie, adapt the anime, and just like not
yep.
like bring it up that she's white. But they like now it's just creepy. The movie ends with her hugging her Japanese mother.
Yep, and that's
Like,
kind of what
why
they
did you
went with
double
for the.
down? Weirdos. Why did they double down?
Yeah, that's pretty yikes, dude. And they kind of did that with Cleopatra. Because they literally try. But the thing about what Ghost in the Shell can get away with is that it's fictional. It doesn't matter, right? They literally tried pawning this off as historically accurate with no fucking research properly done.
Yeah. Like, if you want to do like an original story with Cleopatra, that's fine. Go do it. But like, be honest. Don't call it like historically accurate. Just say loosely accurate. Like mostly accurate, loosely accurate. inspired by true events, but not like this is 100% accurate.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's what
mean?
they were going for. They were literally trying to rewrite history. Like, imagine if they did something like that with like George Washington.
They did. Isn't that
Instead of being like,
Hamilton?
no, that's somebody else. That's a
Okay,
different
but like, is it the same
source for
period?
me. Yeah, I think so. Around that time,
Like George
but
Washington's
like,
probably in it.
I don't. I haven't. I know a couple of songs from that play. I don't know the play itself.
You ever see that? There's like a joke in Gravity Falls where like Mabel's having a dream and all her like summer crushes are like in her dream, like all my crushes. Hamilton, I forgot I had a crush on the guy on the back of the dollar bill, and people like realize like, oh, it aged better now because now Hamilton exists. Like Mabel's a Hamilton fan. Like I forgot I had a crush on the guy on that money, the money guy.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Mabel.
Babby points this out very well. Like bone structure, DNA testing, hieroglyphs, artifacts around her tomb, and all that means nothing crazy. Because like no one, it doesn't matter to crazy people. You want to know what the one of the fucking advertisings for the Cleopatra show was? They got like random black women to come in to do like sit down interviews talking about the historical significance of Cleopatra, and they had this one woman come in and she was like, my grandma told me that Cleopatra's black and to not trust schools and everything. I'm like, what the fuck kind of message is this, and why would you use this as advertising for your show?
That's kind of strange.
That's concerning. Yes.
Like, I have the power to rewrite history.
Yeah.
What are you, Scrooge McDuck? Rewriting history, DuckTales.
And that's like, imagine if they did something similar with like George Washington, but like instead of being like white, he's like Asian now. But like, where would that make sense?
No.
Gotta homeschool my kid. No erasing history.
I mean, maybe not a homeschool. Find like a good school that like you can trust, maybe. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Like again, like if they want to make, there's tons of Cleopatra adaptations that are not accurate at all. You know what I mean? But like they're good movies, probably. I've never seen any. But like, so it's like if you want to change things and do your own original take on Cleopatra, that's fine. But like you're gonna be kind of like snobby, like this is the accurate, definitive version. This is what actually happened in real life for real, for real. It's kind of like she's born in Greece.
For real.
Like you can like have her be a person of color and she could still be from Greece, even though like I don't know if they're a person of color in Greece in that time period, but like who cares? It's a TV show, you fudge it. Doesn't really matter. But like I don't know, where they're born kind of seems like very important lore. It's funny talking about history like lore. He's calling history lore. It's easier than saying history.
Yes, baby. It is that way, but it's just so awkward where we have the most famous companies ever having just weird significance in just changing things and how they had the power to change it any way they wanted or try to spin off as if it's fact. Which I mean, some depictions of like events can be like depicted accurately, but like to say that like this is true because we say so, from like Black Cleopatra, for example, being her skin tone because they say so. Like, okay, well, where's your source? And their source is I made it fuck up. And Sweet Baby Inc., like it said, and this was a little bit concerning, because of like if you go to their website, they actually list off an entire uh our clients and what. Oh God, no. So They
And who
they
did
are
these people work
partnered.
for? Who did these people work for? Did you say Disney or like God of War games?
They work with a little bit of everyone, and they have a
Okay.
long list of like what games they worked with for as consultants, quote unquote. But like they're supposed to be consultants. They're supposed to be making sure that you're not misrepresenting a culture, right? But
Mm.
like you have a black character in a Scandinavian based culture where black people would not have existed in Scandinavia for like another 1,000 years or something like that, at least in the modern day era. And but like Sweet Baby Ink, I'm looking at their list right now. They work with Xbox Game Studios,
Mm.
Electronic Arts, so EA, Valve, so that's Steam,
Mm.
True Love, spelled TRULUV. Don't know what that is. Santa Monica Studios. That's another
Mm.
gaming company right there. 2K Games,
Mm.
Ubisoft, Square Enix, Warner Brothers, Finji, Polytron, Rocksteady. Oh god, no, not Rocksteady. Co-op, spelled KO_OP.
Mm.
That's a samurai logo. I don't know what that is. Compulsion Games, don't know what that is. ME3, I don't know what that is. Chance Agency, Avalanche Studios. Avalanche Studios sounds familiar. I don't know what game that is.
Mm.
Deck 9, Brass Lion Entertainment, Wizards of the Coast, so Magic the Gathering, D&D, and so on.
Mm.
People Can Fly, Eco Software, Juvie Productions, Glitch, Remedy. Remedy is another
Mm.
game company. I don't know what this is. It's just P. Raw Fury, Fellow Traveler, and then like I said, they also have their list of games that they worked on. Um, like the recent projects that they worked on was
Mm.
Alan Wake 2, which I heard good things about. So I don't have no complaints here per se. Spider-Man 2,
Mm.
which I don't have no complaints about either because that heard is a great game as well.
Mm.
But however, they're taking a long time with developing DLC for Spider-Man 2 because like
Mm.
with the first game back in 2018, Spider-Man for the PlayStation took about a month
Mm.
before their DLC began
Mm.
started to drop, and it's almost been a year already, and Spider-Man 2 has no DLC. Um, God of War Ragnarok, great game
Mm.
overall. It's just some cultural misrepresentation to try to represent people of other cultures, question mark. And then those are the only three games I know,
Mm.
three big games I know. Then they have other games that they worked on or for consultation, like Sable, Battle Shapers, and Usual June. I don't know what those games are.
Mm.
And their services quite literally say, "We believe you need diverse voices to solve diverse problems. Sweet Baby
Mm.
Inc. provides narrative consultations at any stage of development, boasting a talented team with vetted industry experience to best bring your story to life." That's
Mm.
cool. So that's basically what I said before. They're a
Mm.
consultation team that so you're not misrepresenting
Mm.
people. Cool. So
Mm.
then how come you guys have somebody that's being misrepresented or is a fish out of water in God of War Ragnarok? Unless my
Mm.
fan theory about Angerborda being from Egypt is correct, I can see
Mm.
that. I don't know, and it's only a theory, a
Mm.
game theory,
Mm.
until the next God of War game comes out, which is supposed to
Mm.
be set in Egypt. So we might have a little bit more expansion
Mm.
upon why Angerborda was race swapped.
Mm. It's kind of a
But it's
shame that like how there's like it's not there's like you got like the people who are like try to like fix things, you know what I mean, by being more diverse or whatever, and they kind of go about it kind of in a not very well done way, and then when that stuff flops, that you have the other group who are like, oh, people don't like people of color, we gotta go back to only white. I wish we could just get to like a good middle ground where we just make good stuff with everyone in it. You know what I mean?
I honestly agree with that. I just wish that they would just pull their heads out their
Hmm.
asses and just make a story for the sake of making a story and not think about
The way I think,
XYZ.
the way I think of it is, of course, 100% diversity is a good thing. Media needs to have it in it. Like, we need it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, there's been such a long period where it's, just mostly just been white casts or whatever, that, like, everyone's kind of we're basically playing catch up. So, like, right now we're going through, like, growing pains. And hopefully, eventually, once people, like, stop, like, overthinking, like, overthinking, like, trying to, like speed run, like iconic stuff. Like, we get like actual really good story writers and filmmakers who can actually do diverse stories that are actually like really good. And they do exist. Like, I heard the new X-Men show apparently talks about a lot of like, political stuff, but apparently it's really good. Like, you can do this stuff really good. You just have to have a good story with it. It has to like be meaningful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, I think a good example is, I believe, like, from what I remember, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, how and versus Nishito Gatwa's Doctor, is that, like, I feel like, from what I remember, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor would basically just kind of like talk down about the problem to randomly to people, while Nishito Gatwa's Doctor, they just have diverse people in it. They're just there, and it's like, seems like very genuine and positive. You know what I mean? And when they do talk about like political stuff, it feels like it's like really like, if it's like fits with the story and feels like well done in a way. You know what I mean? Rather than like basically showing, not telling, in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't watched the
Mhm.
Gatwa's Doctor yet. I probably should one of
It
these days to
mm,
see.
it's good and flawed. You're probably gonna have mixed feelings, but like the whole political diversity stuff in it, I don't think is a problem. I think it's that stuff is handled pretty well compared to like previous seasons of Doctor Who. So like, that's fine. But
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
mm,
the political stuff, like the Doctor being black now
mm,
and stuff like that. That's not gonna
mm,
bother me because it's already well established, like a long
mm,
time ago. Like, it makes sense to have he
mm.
could be anything, any race,
Yeah,
any species,
shapeshifter.
any. He's a shapeshifter,
Mm,
borderline shapeshifter. It's just the writing,
mm,
from what I hear, is just
mm,
done badly. Like,
mm.
for
For the
example,
season.
yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
main bad guy for this season is a longtime
Yeah.
Doctor Who villain from like back in the fourth
Mm,
Doctor's era. That's how
mm,
long ago it was, like 1970s, and he's brought
yeah.
back. Cool, it's Suit Tech, the god of death and shit,
Yeah.
and the Doctor's already beaten him before.
Mm,
The Doctor's beaten gods before. Like, there's that whole speech where the 10th Doctor tells the devil to fuck off because he's beaten gods, demigods, and everything in between.
mm,
So, the devil being uh the devil, it's not gonna scare him. But
mm,
like, and then the God was Doctor's like pissing his pants a
mm,
lot to the point where uh he has to have his companions help him out most of the time. Like, he almost fucking dies
mm,
when with the reintroduction of Sutek,
mm,
and then he's like standing there with his mouth agape, like
mm,
quivering in his boots, and then he literally gets snapped back into the moment by
mm.
his companions, or one of his companions.
Yeah, something about Nacito's Doctor is he seems a lot scared. Like, I think like the whole point of like the bioregeneration is like uh rehab in reverse. You know what I mean? Like, basically Tennant's Doctor basically has like a vacation year in therapy with Donna, and then eventually when he regenerates, his soul time travels back to the moment where they bigeneration. So Nasita is basically him from the future in a way. That's the working fan theory. But like, for someone who supposedly went through rehab in reverse, you know what I mean? He seems to be like traumatized still, to the point where like he doesn't really do anything cool. He just kind of scared and crying a lot, which is fine. I want the Doctor to cry. That's one of my criteria for a good actor for a Doctor. If you can cry good and make me feel emotions, you're a good Doctor. But like, I don't know, it just a lot of the times doesn't feel earned. Or I don't
Yeah,
know.
Gatwa just doesn't do it for me when it comes to
Like,
that. Like, well, I watch his scenes and it's just doesn't compare to like Matt Smith or Capaldi.
like the way
Because Capaldi, yeah, especially Capaldi, where he puts everything into his emotions,
the way he
and it's just
feels to me, he feels like he's a really good actor auditioning for a role he hasn't been told yet.
yeah. I feel like that's actually something that's been a consistent consensus
Like
on.
he's a good actor auditioning for like a secret role, like he doesn't know he's playing the Doctor, so he's just like he's just like acting, but like he doesn't have a character. Like
Yeah.
I hope season 2 is better because I honestly think he will be good in season 2. But I feel like with this season, I my theory is they're trying to appeal to younger audiences. And like after Smith, we got like a scary old man who can't run from monsters and was mostly speeches, which was kind of boring. And then you have Whitaker, and her first season, from what I remember, was very boring. Not really any monsters. So like they lost a lot of kid viewers, in my opinion, probably. So with this Disney Plus version, they're trying to make it as appealing as possible for younger audiences. So they're making making the stories very rushed and fast paced. The Doctor's very loud and the Doctor and his companion are very loud and energetic a lot of the time to keep your attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also the same fact is apparently the actor was busy filming a Netflix show, so that's why there's a lot of episodes where he's not in it.
Really.
Yeah. Well, he's in them, but like, so like, basically, there's like a 3 episode one. There's an episode where he's just stuck on a landmine, and he's just standing in one place the whole time. Good, he acted good in it, so like that one's fine. The next episode, he steps on another thing. He steps on a face circle and disappears for like his companion's entire life. I won't spoil what happens, but like he disappears. He's not in the episode. And then the episode after that is a kind of episode about a random new character, and the Doctor's only in it through Zoom calls. They they are all good episodes. They're all good episodes, but for a first season of Doctor Who, that's bad.
Yeah, first season, yeah, that's bad introduction.
And like honestly, it's like if the best episodes are without the Doctor or the Doctor doing nothing, that's a problem to me. Like you need to like showcase him being cool. You can't. The best episodes cannot be Doctorless episodes because he's the best character in the show. So like that's bad. Like I feel bad. Like
Yeah.
wow, that was a really good like the one with the face circle. That's a really cool episode. I liked it. I feel terrible that Gatwa was not in it at all. It's also really funny back to back. One episode, like he steps on a landmine, like oh dang it. Next episode, he steps on a face circle. Oh dang it.
You would really think he'd watch where he'd step at that after that.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, people point out there's a lot of stepping on things. So people are like, maybe it was going to be like a secret subplot because, like, I think in like one episode there's a joke where his companion steps on a butterfly and turns into a bug creature,
Maybe
like in
Russell
dinosaur
T Davies
times.
Maybe Russell T Davies got a foot fetish now.
But yeah. Also, I think he made a comment in the episode where he steps in a landmine, saying that like my past incarnation was in a lesbian bar, and like I was there was a bet for me to defuse one of these things. So I guess Jodie Whittaker's it's kind of funny. Taking Jodie Whittaker at a gay bar. But yeah, it's very. I honestly do think you should watch it. I think that would be fun to talk about because it's very interesting how it could be like some of the best Doctor Who it's been in a while, but also really bad. It's like it's very interesting to talk about. It's kind of fascinating to me, like my mixed emotions for it. And honestly, I was thinking about Sutek, and I was thinking like he's basically what we feared Thanos would be. A generic one-note villain who just sits in a chair the whole time and kills everyone. And does nothing.
Yeah. Beyonce took a nap. I hate MSG or MSQ without. Oh, playing. All right, have lunch, baby.
Yeah,
Like,
and my problem, I wasn't thinking about my problem with the Doctor fighting gods. You know what I mean? Is that one of the fun things about Doctor Who is the characters' philosophies. I like him arguing, debating with the Master or the Daleks their philosophies. Like maybe we can like redeem the villain, but they're like doomed to always fall back to evil. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about Doctor. You know what I mean? But like with gods, he's just like, I am the god of death. I like killing things. You can't have a conversation and reason with death. So he's just one note. So it's just like it's uninteresting compared to a Dalek, a Cyberman, the Master. He's not a person. He's a concept. You can't reason with the god of death because he's just gonna be like, fuck you, I like death. That's why I was born. I don't know. Like, I think the reason why Toymaker worked is because the Toymaker has history with the Doctor. It's personal now. Like, I want a revenge. Ha 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 ha. Well, and I guess they kind of do that with Sutek, but like he just sits in a chair the whole time. I wish he was a humanoid. Like he could still be a kaiju, but like have a humanoid form. So he can walk around and talk to the Doctor. He just sits there as a giant dog. I don't know. Like, yeah, his old design looks kind of dopey, but I honestly would have preferred a guy with a helmet. Or, like, a guy with a dog mask.
Something.
Did you see his redesign?
Yeah, where he looks like Anubis, kinda.
Yeah, he's just a giant dog. Which is fine, because he's like a dog in, like, the original episode when he takes his mask off. And, like, people have pointed out, like, that mask was probably part of his imprisonment in that episode, so why would he wear it? So, like, it's understandable, but, like, I wish he had, like, a human form where he's, like, he can, like, shapeshift, like, his big form, his little form. But he just sits on the TARDIS the whole episode.
Would make sense if he did something else, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, someone pointed out that, like, so basically, you know, like, he Thanos snaps or whatever, right? And, like, the first episode, like, ends with, like, the reveal of Sutek's real, and then the second episode shows, like, you know, him, like, dusting everyone. But someone pointed out, like, they should have just had the dusting, the dusting everyone should have been the cliffhanger. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that would make the finale have more time for the Doctor to try and figure out a solution rather than, I don't know, like, just time skipping in the middle of the episode and just feels rushed.
Yeah.
And also, I wonder how, like, if they're going to keep doing gods, I wonder how long is this going to be like a 3-season arc with gods, or are they going to, like, the next season going to be about someone else? Because
we don't know.
they're like hinting, there's like a mysterious woman, and there's theories of who she is. Like, she's either going to be like like another god, or possibly the Rani. Maybe
Rani.
She might be the Rani. I'm not sure. Someone pointed out there's like someone dressed up in like a puffy white dress, like a villain. Do you know who a villain dressed up in a puffy white dress, like
Puffy.
in the snow or something? Might have been a companion. I don't know.
I can't think of anything.
But there's like a fan theory. People have pointed out that this mysterious woman character throughout the show, she dresses up as past companions. Like, she has an outfit that's just Clara's outfit. And she's just like this old woman. And like every outfit she wears is like, looks similar to a companion's outfit. So like people think maybe it's like the Ronnie or some classic villain who did that, like dressed up as companions. Just to, like, the mess with the Doctor. Or like as a reference.
Interesting. I have to pay attention to that whenever I start watching.
Mm-hmm. She's barely in it. She's like in the first episode for a second, and like she breaks the fourth wall, like, oh, I've never seen a TARDIS before. And then the last episode, she kind of like again breaks the fourth wall again. Like, oh, the Doctor's greatest nightmare is about to happen next season. But again, there's like a lot of like mystery box stuff in it that kind of went nowhere. So like she's probably gonna be no one.
Well,
But she's probably gonna be the Ronnie. He did name drop the Ronnie when talking about like you're called the Doctor. He's like, yes, Time Lords have titles for names like the Ronnie, the Doctor, the Master. So like I feel like they name drop things. That means they're probably gonna come back.
I think
Yeah.
I think it might be the Ronnie because she first appeared in the fourth Doctor era, I believe, at least towards the end of it, and then she became more prominent in the fifth and sixth and no, wait, well, I think it was the sixth Doctor then. Never mind.
Does the Ronnie have a history of breaking the fourth wall?
No, but the Doctor does with the fourth Doctor.
Okay. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking with Nisita Goto. I think he breaks the fourth wall. Like, he winks at the camera. The gods break the fourth wall. Like, there's an episode where they introduce a new original god called the Maestro. And they play the Doctor Who theme song in that episode. Like, they start ominously playing the piano, and it, like, cuts to the theme song. Which is kind of neat. So there's a lot of fourth wall breaking. So I wonder if that's going to be a thing.
Possibly.
But I honestly really do hope his next season's good. Like, I believe the next season's going to have a new companion. Yeah, I think there's going to be a new companion. I think the old companion's going to pop back up every once in a while, but she's not. They're going to introduce a new companion for the new season. So like maybe we can get like a good refresh where like actually introduce the Doctor now that he's not busy filming Sex Education for Netflix. Like the whole time apparently he was busy filming a Netflix show, and I'm just kind of like, why didn't you just delay it or make like 2 more Tenet episodes? I don't know, like you could have like waited a little bit until he was free. I don't know. I wonder if Jinx is back.
That is a good question.
They probably forgore. Which Doctors do you think they would add in Fortnite if they added a Doctor to Fortnite?
Definitely like the 14th Doctor, probably the 15th Doctor, probably all like the recent Doctors at least.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be the new one, Nashuti? Yeah, I think his name's Nashuti. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But I think it's going to be Nashuti, probably Tenet, maybe Whitaker, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of like pretend Whitaker doesn't exist, even though they said they're going to acknowledge her a lot. They like I think Russell T Davies is like, oh, everything that happened in Whitaker's is going to stay canon and we're going to acknowledge it. They have not. They've referenced it, but it's just like brushed under the rug. Like they imply the Doctor's adopted. Like he says he's adopted, and that's like about it. I think they reference like something from Whitaker's finale in one of the specials, where it's like it's kind of like a new version, her version of the Time War, where it's like, oh, this terrible thing happened, and now I'm traumatized from it. I miss the Time War, honestly. If it was up to me, I would have had a season arc after the Day of the Doctor where they go looking for the Time Lords. And, like, the Time Lords are just, like, recurring characters now, and we've established Doctor lore that way. But no, we gotta ignore it and then kill them off again. Or it's just like, it does, like, I don't care the second time that he's the last of his species. I want them back. I think they are gonna come back. Because again, they name drop it. They've been name dropping they name dropped the Ronnie, and they've been talking about Susan a lot. So I think they're probably going to bring back Susan eventually.
I hope so, because goddamn, it's been literally she was abandoned by the Doctor. So like in the first era of Doctor Who, and
Do you-
never got touched upon again.
Do you mind spoilers for the new Doctor?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh, the finale, there's basically throughout the show, there's an actress who's like appears in every episode as different characters, right? And when he goes to Una, like, yo, I've noticed this. Like, this woman's everywhere throughout history, following me, different person, different place. And like, oh, there's this tech woman who's right now called Susan Triad. And S Triad is an acronym for the TARDIS. So, like, she could be Susan. You know what I mean? This old woman. It turns out she wasn't. It was an acronym for Sutek. Right? It was like a trap. Like, oh, did you think I was family? No, this is a random woman. I named her Susan to fuck with you. Ha ha ha. But, like, I don't know. Though someone pointed out it's funny. Like, in an early episode, he talks about, like, they go to see the Beatles, and they're, like, standing on a rooftop. He's like, over there, Ruby, there's a junkyard, and right where my TARDIS is parked, where I'm with my granddaughter right now. She's like, oh, you had a granddaughter? That's cute. You know what I mean? It's like a sweet moment. But, like, in the finale, like, it's kind of funny where, like, his companion's like, you said you had a daughter named Susan. What if that's her? And it's, like, an old white woman. Like, why would you come to that conclusion? Maybe she just has the same name, Ruby. It's an old white... Like, you don't know about... She doesn't know about regeneration yet. So it's just kind of like... a second later, he, like, tells her what regeneration is. Or maybe he told her before. I don't know, but it's just funny, like, her music. That random woman's named Susan. What if she's your granddaughter?
Hopefully, they'll meet. Susan and Doctor will get to meet again.
What if...
But it's actually funny that you mentioned that because with how regeneration is now, like they could be like any ethnicity, any gender now, and then so like even if they tried looking for each other on purpose, it'd be almost impossible to find.
Not really, because he could smell the Master in the Tenant Run.
Right.
He can just smell... Timeless can just smell each other, like, boy smell. Like, someone posted the clip of the Doctor sniffing out the Master, and then the Master sniffing out him when he's, like, turning into a skeleton, and someone just, like posted that clip on Twitter, like, this, like, you cannot tell me there's no, like, gay tension to this. They're, like, they're literally smelling each other out. Like, the Master, where are you?
I mean, when Missy was introduced, then and would literally kiss the Doctor without hesitation.
Oh yeah.
So
it's funny how the Doctor's now a non-binary, gender fluid, bisexual or pan alien now.
Damn.
Like, I think he has like a male love interest now, which is fine, but it's just kind of funny that like he's like all the flags now. Like, good for him. Good for them. It's just funny to think about, like, they're every gender, every race, they're everyone. Stretch. Yeah. Oh, another kind of minor spoiler, but, like, you know how, like, in the Tenant Run, how, like, the Master was turned into a ring and a mysterious woman hand grabbed the ring? Jambi?
Yes.
Russell T. Davies did that again.
Oh.
Basically when the Master, I mean the toy maker and the Doctor are like playing a game. The toy maker is basically talking about like how like I turned your history into a jigsaw. I beat God and turned him into a jack-in-the-box. I beat the Master at a game of chess and turned him into my gold tooth. And when they defeat the toy maker, the gold tooth drops and a mysterious woman hand grabs it. So, like, Russell T. Davies, you're just redoing the same story again. You're just repeating yourself.
Who was the one that grabbed the gold tooth then?
I don't know. Just some mysterious woman. Maybe it was the mysterious old woman who people are saying is the Ronnie.
Possibly.
But it's kind of funny. It's just the ring sing, literally, again, like a mysterious woman laughing, like, ha 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 ha. And, like, no one on the unit building saw her. Oh, it's kind of funny.
That is interesting A lot
The-
of development there.
Though there's a lot of people like theorizing which master lost to the toy maker. Because there's a theory that it might have been Missy. Because Missy was killed by, the John Sims master, right? Remember? But then somehow the master comes back in Jodie Whittaker's run. So somehow she survived. So, and I believe the toy maker said that the doctor was the edge of death. And basically save my life. You know what I mean? Like I bet my life or whatever. Like if I win a game of chess, you bring me back to life. So it's either going to be Jodie Whittaker's master because he might have almost died. I don't know what happens in Jodie Whittaker's run, or it could have been Missy, and then this is the origin of how Missy regenerated into the Whittaker master.
Possibly,
but I doubt they're going to do that. It's probably going to be a new master, probably the Whittaker's master, and then they're going to regenerate into someone new. But it's just funny. It's the ring thing all over again.
Yeah. We've been going at it for hours.
Yeah, we're at 3.5 hours. You tired?
No, not really. Though, I don't know what else you want to do since
we could play a game, or we can just end stream. It's up if you want. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not this moment, no. Not that I can think of.
I think we're at the burning point where we ran out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, another kind of funny thing is the unit seems to hire a lot of children. People are like, is that child labor unit? I believe Donna has a daughter, and they're the actor's 20 something, but they're 14 in the specials, and they're working for a unit in the finale. They're just kind of just there, but it's aren't you 14? I'm assuming there's a time skip because they get casted a 20-year-old actress. You know what I mean? So I think there was a time skip and people are just being stupid, but it's just kind of funny to think. But there's also a 13-year-old scientist working there too, so there's 2 kids in the finale. Which is also making people worried if they do a unit spinoff. Is the unit spinoff going to be about a kid show? If kids are working at unit? Is it going to be Sarah Jane Adventures? Because apparently they are making a spinoff though. We don't know what it is though, but apparently it might have Martha in it. It's probably going to be right now its working title is The War Between Land and Sea. That's the working title, the production title, but people are thinking it's probably going to be a unit or a Torchwood show. But with Martha as the main character. Everyone wants Martha to come back. Because she's the only one who just kind of was still alive and just left.
Yeah. Well, this could be interesting then, because by the end of Tenet's run, or the first one, I should say, Martha ends up marrying Mickey.
Which doesn't make sense. Which doesn't make sense because she was married to Lucifer, wasn't she? Before the finale. I guess she just broke up with Lucifer.
I don't remember that. Are you talking about
basically the episode where the Master takes over the world? There's a doctor guy she teams up with, and then at the end of the episode, she calls them up, and then in a later episode, she mentions that they're engaged. But then the finale, that's retcon, and she's marrying Mickey now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there specifically, but yeah, she was when she meets the doctor again after Donna becomes his companion. She is engaged, but by the end of it, it turns out she is somehow engaged to Mickey.
But here's the thing. I think what happens is after that we have the crossover episode where Mickey comes back and Mickey decides I'm gonna stay on Earth while the Doctor ditches Rose. So that's when they and he leaves with her. So that's when they first probably start hitting it up. Like, hey, you're kind of cute. But that means like
Yeah.
Mickey probably was a homewrecker.
Yep. But the thing about the actor for Mickey, though, is that he's likely never going to be on Doctor Who again, mostly because of him getting in a spousal abuse dispute that actually, as far as I know, has actually ruined his acting career.
Oh shit! Is he actually an asshole? Or
Yeah, it turns out he's an asshole. Yeah.
that's a shame. That sucks when people are like that. Just be decent human beings. If your relationship's not working out, just adultly break up. Don't like become abusive. I don't know. That sucks. I know that whole like King the Conqueror thing. Like apparently the actor is abusive too, and now they have to like retcon a new villain for the Marvel movies.
Last minute too, as well, when they're already getting through this current phase of Marvel movies.
And like it would have been fine. They could have just recasted him, but the end of I believe Ant-Man Quantumania, we see the Council of King, and every single one of them is just a version of him. So, like, if they just deleted that secret ending, they could have said, like, oh, variants look like different actors. But no, they wrote them to health into a corner where, like, everyone looks like Jonathan Majors.
Honestly, they could probably still.
They could still
use
do it, but
King. It's just
they have an entire council of him. They're gonna. They have an entire council of kings. It's like a football stadium full of them, and it's a secret ending. So you're gonna tell me it's not only are you recasting one king, you're recasting billions of multiverses where they could have just not have had that scene.
Yeah, I mean,
Like what happened to all of them?
I mean, it would save a lot of. I mean, they could also come up with like a lot infighting, like a King Civil War to see who gets to be the next leader. But
that was established in Loki that's a thing that happens.
Yeah, so they could have done that. They could have done that to save their ass and save production values and costs.
But I think Ant-Man came up before the accusation, so like, there's nothing really they can do. I know some people say that they should just get the actor who played the bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy and make him a King variant. Like have it be a plot twist that he was a King variant the whole time.
That could work.
Because like people are like the people said like he's like the best Marvel villain so far. I haven't seen the movie. People say like he was like really good at it. So people are like, what if you made him Avengers villain? Just say what is his name? What's he called? The High Evolutionary is just a Kang variant.
High Evolutionary isn't a Kang variant.
Yeah, I know he's not.
Comics, but I guess you could go with that.
I don't know. Like you can say like he's trying to make himself the better version of the most powerful version in the multiverse, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it was up to me, I would have the 2-part Avengers movie. The first one be a Young Avengers movie, and then the second one be Secret Wars. Because, like, I think the only characters who are set up that are, like, in an Avenger team are the Young Avengers. They're all being, like, introduced. So I think having the Young Avengers fight Kang and introduce Iron Lad, and have it be about, like, the new generation fighting for their future. Seems like it seems thematically right. It fits thematically, like the younger Avengers. Iron Lad Dragon. He is a variant of Kang.
Yes.
Basically, Kang time travel. He's like, I'm going to speed run being evil. I'm going to go back in time, say hi to my younger self, and show him like, I'm going to make you, Iron Lad. And he's like, I'm going to make you Kang earlier. Do you want to be a dictator? And he's like, no, that's fucked up. And he becomes a superhero. He's like, what do you mean, younger me? What do you mean you're going to be a superhero? You're supposed to be evil. Like, that's what I would do. And then have the second one be the nostalgic movie with all the crossovers, characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something like, you don't even need, you can just retcon the Young Avengers just to be the new Avengers. But, like, they're all side characters. Sounds like Iron Iron sounds like the Flash.
Huh?
I don't know what you mean by that. But yeah. I don't know. I just feel like this Iron Lad. Okay. Iron Lad sounds like the Flash. Okay.
Huh? How?
Is Iron Lad have a similar origin to Iron? Does the Flash have a similar origin?
No, he.
Is there a Flash sidekick who's like that?
Well, Wally West was Kid Flash, who had like I can't remember the exact origin story of Barry Allen. All I know is that Barry Allen was in his forensics lab, and then lightning struck through the ceiling window or skylight, and it zapped all the chemicals that was right next to him and splashed onto Barry, and that's how he got his super speed. I can't remember the exact origin for Wally though. I think Wally had a very similar. It was like either Wally was in the same room with him and got like a small dosage of that those same electrified chemicals on him as well, or
Ledell is nuclear
something
bombs.
else happened. I can't remember.
Are you going to redeem it, Dragon, or is this info just saying legalize nuclear bombs?
Legalize.
Lee. Oh, they redeemed it. No, that's a hit pet. Now I'm worried you're going to release the nuke. Yeah, I honestly, I saw like a Twitter kind of debate talking about the Agatha Harkness show that's coming out.
I saw that. I don't.
Someone was people are like, why does this need to exist? And someone was already, oh, it exists so they could introduce Wiccan. And I'm just kind of like, then make a Wiccan show. And they're like, well, and they're just like, well, Agatha is a pre-existing character. People know Agatha, so she'll make more money. And I'm like, isn't that the purpose of introducing a character, is to get people to know them? Like, that's every single Marvel movie. No one's know they exist. You can make a Wiccan show. Here's the thing. What sounds like a cooler show? A show about a random witch making a coven or whatever. In the comics, she's like a C-list character who's like the babysitter for the Fantastic Four. She basically has no story arc or whatever, right? And she just exists. Also, we're going to shoehorn Wiccan's origin in it. Or a show about the son of Scarlet Witch from the hit Disney show randomly coming into existence. Like, he shouldn't be born, but now he's all magically born with a different family. And he's like, why do I have these memories of the Scarlet Witch? And he goes on a journey to find his lost brother, and like this conspiracy of how he's like the most powerful wizard or whatever. And then later becomes the leader of the Young Avengers, which sounds like a cooler show.
The second one, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of this weird, you can make an Agatha show, but if the only reason for the Agatha show to exist is to introduce another character for another spinoff, then I don't give a fuck. Make an Agatha show about Agatha. Don't shoehorn another spinoff character. I'm tired of it. Every Young Avengers character has been shoehorned in other people's shows, and none of them have their own shows, so who's going to give a fuck when they all cross over? Why should I care? Why should I care? They're side characters. I think the only ones who have their own original show is going to be Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, and Ironheart. They're going to be the only ones with their own shows. But even Ironheart was introduced in Black Panther.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to do that, because the most powerful suit she could ever have was that vibranium suit that they made for her, and she doesn't have that anymore. So I'm curious of what she's gonna do, make in compensation for that.
I heard that the rumor. Okay, I know this has been a rumor for a lot of Marvel shows, but the rumor is the main villain in the Ironheart show is Mephisto. So
Get the fuck out of here.
So maybe she's gonna make a magic suit. Well, there's a lot of Iron characters. Yeah, there's a few. There's Ironheart, Iron Lad, Rescue, War Machine. All of them could have spin-offs, but we haven't gotten any yet.
Why is Ironheart going to have the fucking devil as for main villain, oh my god, are they going to introduce the Ghost Rider from this?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, did you hear that they're separating TV shows and movies again? Basically, they realized that making people watch every show is like annoying, and that like some shows have nothing to do with the movies. So now they're basically bringing back the Marvel TV branding, like the Netflix shows. So like certain shows, they're in the same universe now, but some just you don't need to watch for the movies. You have Marvel Studio shows and Marvel television shows now, all same universe, but like you don't need to watch some of the shows. I'm not sure. The Aga show might have nothing to do with the movies. It might be a Marvel television show. It's kind of like, eh. The trailer looks fine. But it's just kind of funny. I would like to see more Agatha, but it's just like, a whole show? Really? You could just make the Wiccan. And again, like, the Wicked, like, he's like the leader of the Young Avengers. He's like the most popular LGBT superhero, I believe. If I'm correct.
Yes, because because he is
he's like in a relationship.
To...
He's Hawkling, right?
Hulkling, yes. Who is the child of the original Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. My theory with Hawkling is I think they're going to retcon him and make him the same character as Scar.
Ugh. Well, they can't because they just introduced Scar.
Yeah, that's why I think they're going to retcon him. I think they're going to retcon Scar into Hawkling.
Oh, no.
Because if you think about it, like, Hawkling's kind of confusing. He looks like he's a shapeshifter, and he chooses to shapeshift into a hawk with wings, right? I don't read the comics, but that's what I've heard. So, like...
No, Hulkling is part... fuck, what was it? Hulkling is part...
Isn't he a fan of the Hulk, and he makes himself big to look like the Hulk, but he has nothing to do with the Hulk?
Kinda. I can't remember what, what were the aliens in,
Kree?
Captain...
Yeah, Kree and a Skrull.
Kree. He's
half Kree, half
Skrull, so he's a shapeshifter.
And he chooses to be in the form of a Hulk because he thinks the Hulk's cool.
I think so. I can't remember.
But like my mind is like, it's going to be really confusing for general audiences where there's going to be two teenage Hulk characters. One is called Hawkling, one isn't, but like the one who's called Hawkling has nothing to do with the Hulk. So my theory is they're just going to make Scar Hawkling, just to simplify things. Because they don't really have a Captain Marvel in this universe, like the male one. Like they gender swapped her, so like she probably doesn't have kids. She just died. So like Hawkling can't exist because there's no Captain Marvel. So like just make the character called Hawkling the son of the Hulk. It simplifies things. It's gonna be different, but who knows? Yeah. Maybe the Hulk fucked Fing Fang Foom and like Scar has wings. Gender swap Fing Fang Foom, and that's how he has wings. Okay. Or not. I mean, maybe Fing Fang Foom is like is a guy and can just have kids. Like hello Natasha. I'm sorry. Like Hulk just marries Fing Fang Foom. And he's just like a happy gay couple. This is my dragon boyfriend. What the fuck are you on about, Dakota? There's a Marvel villain called Fing Fang Foom who's a dragon. And I'm saying Hawkling looks like the Hulk and has wings. What if they retcon Hawkling to be the son of the Hulk and a gender-swapped Fing Fang Foom? Or maybe not even a gender-swapped Fing Fang Foom.
Maybe. How old is Scar, by the way?
Teenager? I don't know. So, like, here's the thing. Hulk, when did Age of Ultron come out?
2015.
Alright, so Hulk went to Planet Sakaar in, like, what, 2015?
I don't like it.
So, like, and then when did Ragnarok come out? Was that, like,
2019?
So, let's say in Marvel movie time, there's, like, he was on the planet for 10 years, right? Let's say he was on Sakaar for 10 years. And then...
No, see,
And then
Actually,
let me
the
finish.
Marvel movies are.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually let you finish. So
Oh, sorry. So basically, let's say around 8 or 10 years, Marvel universe wise, and that's what Thor finds him. And then you have 5 years of the snap. That would make Scar around 14, 16.
Yeah.
And like again, like another time skip. We don't know how long the time skip for She-Hulk was, so that could have been another couple years. So he could probably like 18, 16 or 18.
See, the thing is, though, is that the Marvel movies are actually up until Infinity War
Mm.
was
Release order.
Yeah, they were release orders. So like 2012 was
With exceptions
Avengers,
with exceptions of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Captain Marvel.
yeah, exceptions of the first Captain America, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and that yes, because they had points where they was fixated on like the 90s, the 80s, like in the World War II and everything. Those are obvious exceptions.
I
But-
believe Guardians of the Galaxy 2 takes place like within the same year or a year after the first movie, so that movie's basically a prequel to other Marvel movies.
Yeah, Captain Marvel is like supposed to be like the first superhero documented superhero. Yeah.
But isn't that Captain America?
No, well, he's the first Avenger, but he's
the first document.
do.
He's the first documented superhero.
Well, he can just punch really hard, but then you got Captain Marvel over here that can blow up fucking ships.
No, like Captain America counts. He's super strong and probably bulletproof.
No, he's not bulletproof.
Oh, whatever. But he's like super strong. He can bust through walls. They made more of him apparently, like in secret.
Yeah, but it's more like just.
Oh, I think the new Captain America movie's gonna do something really shitty. So, like in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, they introduced apparently when Captain America was on ice, the government still kept trying to make superhero serum, right? And they recreated it and they give it to like a person of color. He was used for testing, but like he was forced to be. He did something like he saved some people, so they had him arrested. And like he was forced to like keep it a secret because racism or whatever. Like we don't want people to know there's a black Captain America, right?
It's actually funny you mentioned that because there's actually a very powerful superhero called Blue Marvel, and he was the exact same thing. He was supposedly the first, or not the first, because like Captain America, but like the other documented superhero, but he couldn't be publicly known because he was black, and back then people were racist as shit. So.
I think he's like a combination of an actual Captain America. I think his name's Isaiah and Blue Marvel. They might have meshed the two together. But like apparently the new Captain America movie is going to begin where he's evil and like shooting up a president building. And it's like he was such a nice character of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Why would you change that? Like the show ends where where Falcon's like, this is this actual second Captain America, and he gets put in a museum. An honor for him because he deserves it. But then the next movie, he's going to be evil. Is Falcon or whatever his name Falcon is the new Captain America? Yes, and he's going to be in the new movie. I honestly don't like the new suit that they released for him. I thought his suit in the show looked really good. I think it made him look musclier, like it bulked him up a bit, made him look superhuman. His new suit just looks like the Falcon suit, and it's like very thin and makes him look small. And I'm like, Falcon. I didn't really care about Falcon. I thought he was forgettable, but I want him to be I thought he was really cool as Captain America, and I want him to be really cool in the Captain America movie. But they're just making him look like Falcon. Like, I don't know. I wish he had the white suit.
Yeah.
Why ruin his name as Captain America? Why make him evil? No. Falcon's not going to turn evil. Basically, during like World War II times, when first Cap was on ice, the government made a second Cap named Isaiah, who was kept secret, covered up, and then now Falcon is the third Captain America. Basically. Like, there was a second unofficial Captain America. Well, second, and then U.S. Agent's the third, and then Falcon is like the fourth. It's fucking stupid.
If they would have gone by comic standards, Falcon would have been the fifth because Bucky in the comics was Captain America at one point.
But Bucky didn't want it. He doesn't think he's worthy, and like he killed a lot of people, so like no one would accept him in the MCU.
Because in the comics, because he accepted the title and mantle of Captain America because he thought that would redeem him.
Yeah. But he has too much trauma in these movies. Instead, he's just going to be forced to join the Thunderbolts.
Be interesting.
Honestly, I think the Thunderbolts could be cool, but it's all just a bunch of super soldier spy characters, and it's very bland, the cast they've picked. Did Captain America used to have a regular-looking shield before his round shield? Yes, he did have, the shield-shaped one, and then he got his more iconic round one in, later comics.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. It's just a real shame they introduced this character in Falcon the Winter Soldier. It's basically like WandaVision all over again, where Wanda has this character arc, and she, ends the show better, but then, the writers for the movie, for Doctor Strange, didn't watch the show and just made her evil again, relapse. Yep. Captain America versus Captain Communist, who would win? I don't know. Doesn't Captain Marvel, Shazam, have a villain called Captain Nazi? Isn't that a Shazam villain? That's kind of that's insane. Yes. I doubt he'll be in a movie. That's so jarring. In the comics, it probably makes sense because the time period where the comics take place, Nazis were during World War II. But if you did a modern Captain Marvel movie, like a Shazam movie, about a child in the body of a human, it's I'm going to go out and fight supervillains. Hello, I'm Captain Nazi. What? It's really dark and fucked up. This kid has to fight a Nazi. Shazam is wild.
Yeah, that was always the joke for comics back then was because you want to clown on bigots, Nazis, and shit like that. I mean, hell,
normalize punching Nazis. Based.
Oh yeah, one of the most iconic comic panels Captain America ever has is literally him punching Hitler.
Yeah. They recreated in the first Captain America movie, but it's an actor for a stage movie. I feel like that'd be canceled by my opinion. I feel like I'd be canceled, but that would be a good movie where Shazam fights Captain Nazi. I'm sure they could probably do it, but they probably couldn't call him that. Yeah. Introduce a villain who's a Nazi and Shazam fight him. That would probably work better if it was a period movie though. Maybe if the DCEU will do a period Shazam, that would make sense. They'll just make a modern Shazam.
Yeah, that's why in the Boys TV show, there's actually a Nazi superhero called Stormfront, and there's a lot of different lore between the comic and the show, and
they change a lot.
Oh yeah, they do for the better. And it still works out.
Yeah. I got a new name for Captain Nazi. Captain Ironcross.
Oh, God.
I mean, Ironcross sounds like an interesting villain name. Would he be a communist supervillain? I could see that being I don't know. Yeah. I'm pissed that they didn't use the worm in Shazam. I haven't seen Shazam 2, but Shazam 1 had the secret ending with the worm, and I was excited. And now we'll never get the worm. Instead, we get Zachary Levi in the Harold and the Purple Crown movie. Because he just has to be in a movie without playing a kid. Have you seen the trailer for Harold and Purple Crown?
I have not.
They're making a live-action Harold and the Purple Crown where he's just Zachary Levi as a grown man in the human world.
Mother of God.
He's just a man in purple pajamas, a grown man in purple pajamas. And he's from the cartoon book world, and he's like, I'm gonna draw a door to the real world. And like, his cartoon animal friends, you can't do that. And it works. Like, oh shit, he can do that. And then like, when he comes to the human world, his animal companions turn into human actors. So it's like, I don't know, it would have been cool if they were animated. And heck, Harold of the Purple Crown could probably be the easiest thing to make live action if you just swip it and have a live action actor go into a cartoon world rather than a cartoon character coming to the real world. It's just funny, like, he goes from Shazam and desperately like, yeah, I'll do Harold of the Purple Crown, I want to do this. Captain Ironcross would be just a replacement name for Captain Nazi. Okay. But yeah. I'm mad they didn't use the word Mr. Mind. It's fun. I find it funny hearing about Mr. Mind, how like he's just like this cute little generic library bookworm looking guy. And like he's apparently the most evil person in the DC universe. That's just fucking funny to me. Like Mr. Mind lore goes insane. I think he joined forces with Nazis, I think, at one point, this alien worm. He's like does all kinds of evil shit. And he's just a little guy.
Oh, that one worm from the end of the first movie?
Yeah, Mr. Mind. Do you know that character?
I vaguely remember now, yes.
I was excited. They should have made him the villain in the second movie, but instead they made up original characters who are like gods or something, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
I haven't seen the movie. I'm sure it's fine. And also, it continues the DC trope of just having Gal Gadot appear. She's like, just standing there like, I'm in this movie too. Like, she's just there in Batman vs. Superman. Like, I'm here. Then she's just there for Flash. I'm here. And then she's just in Shazam. I'm here. Just standing there, not doing anything. I exist. And had, like, one good movie.
Damn. Maybe we'll do that for movie night next week. Watching Shazam 2.
Watching Wonder Woman? Shazam 2? Maybe. You do both of them, maybe.
Yeah.
Or we just do the one. I mean, two.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I haven't seen a lot of the DC movies. I think I stopped at Suicide Squad because I stopped giving a shit.
Which one?
The second one. Like, I think it was better, but I just don't really care. I didn't really care. It's like, oh, it's okay. It is a better movie, though. I will acknowledge that Suicide Squad 2 is better. But I don't know, I just didn't really care. It was just like, this is okay. Thought what they did with Polka Dot Man was neat.
Oh, yeah. It was flat.
I think James Gunn's gonna do good introducing like just heroes just exist in the universe and they just have like cool mysterious lore. But they just like everyone just exists already. I think he's gonna do good with that. I believe from when I hear the new Superman movie, superheroes just already exist and Superman's just the new one. And like all of them are like kind of corporate. But like Superman like is gonna like change the belief like you should go independent and actually be good people. And they're like, oh, that's inspiring, Superman. We will stop being corporate superheroes.
Good.
Because like there are set photos of Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl, and they all wearing matching like race car outfits. So like I'm assuming they're like a corporate superhero team, probably for Maxwell Lord. I believe that's the theory. And then Superman has like the like classic looking cartoony superhero outfit because he actually has personality and like originality. He's like, I just want to be my original nice guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would make sense. I would. Kind of actually makes me excited to go see Superman now whenever that comes out.
They're like you new kid. That's not how superheroes work. You gotta be like branding or whatever, or like be cynical, like ooh, like kill people, blah. And Superman's like, I don't want to do that. That's lame. And they realize, well, maybe Superman's right. Maybe we don't have to be violent. I guess they're probably doing like, what is it? The one Superman villain team. The I don't know. I don't want to say the Elite or something. Or it's like the British guy and like the British shirt. What are they called?
Fuck, what are they called? I think it was Elite.
The Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna loosely adapt that, but with like random different superheroes. Or like
called the Elite.
Maybe Superman's gonna teach other heroes. You don't have to be violent. There's like you can just save cats from trees. You don't have to murder villains. I don't know if Guy Gardner is gonna be murdering villains. I'm probably picking that up. But it does look like Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and Mr. Terrific. And I think was it Metallo might be in it? He might be a member.
Ooh.
I think Metallo's the one. No, not Metallo. The one who's like multiple colors and like absorbs materials.
Oh, Metamorpho.
Metamorpho, he's in it. I think someone pointed out, I think Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific are in like a knockoff Fantastic Four team, so maybe they're that team with different members? With the Terrifics?
Yeah, the Terrifics, that's what they're called.
So they might be the Terrifics, but with like original cast members. You know, like how like James Gunn picked random characters for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big stretch.
Big stretch.
So I'm assuming Jinx is not coming.
Yeah, probably.
They're probably still out or took a nap.
Oh yeah, they probably passed out and forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or maybe I think they said they were getting a tub for tarot cards. Maybe they're organizing their tarot cards.
I mean, I would love to do like a tarot reading on stream one of these days if they want.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. There's too many things that could go wrong in my life right now, so I kind of want to wait until like stuff blows over, because I kind of worry about self-fulfilling prophecies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I probably want to like wait a little bit before I ever do like a tarot reading. Like I'm not superstitious, but something about like I don't want to accidentally will bad vibes into existence if I get like a bad reading. Like I'd rather like things happen naturally and they're like, okay, don't worry.
I get you.
Yeah.
Alright. Probably end stream here then.
Alright.
Almost 4 hours. Or actually 4 hours to stream. Goddamn.
We're a couple seconds to 4.
Alright, I think I'm just getting here. I don't think I'm gonna be raiding today.
Okay. You sure?
Whoa! Hey now, don't look at this! This isn't for children to see!
That redeem is loud. Let me see who's on first. We could raid Kataro.
Oh, Kitaro's still on?
Yeah, we could raid Kataro.
Alrighty.
Alright, let's go raid Kataro. Alright, thank you all for coming. I had a lot of fun today. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure. But until next time, good night.